Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Chickasha, Oklahoma, a wild, brutal, and twisted plot emerges after a body is found shot, stabbed, beaten, cut, and tied to a chunk of concrete in the river. The question is, who here really gets what they deserve? Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us once again today for another wild, crazy, and we'll tell you, this one is an extra crazy. There's like an extra loop in this roller coaster. It is nuts. This is a crazy case, as if last week wasn't crazy. We say it every week. We should just stop saying it because it's, you know what you're going to get when you tune into this show? A crazy, crazy story, period. That's it. So it's never just a standard, well, you know, there was a little disagreement and then there was that and it's over. No, it's always going to be messed up.
Custody battle, somebody's dead.
Something is happening. Yeah, no, nothing like that. But just quickly, just want to get out of the way here. Thank you for everyone who's helped out this week in every single way. Your reviews on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, they count. Why? Who knows? We don't run Apple. We have no idea why they help drive you up the charts, but they do. When you drive up the charts, then more people see you. You get more listeners. It helps a lot to do that. So thank you so much if you have done that. If you haven't, 5 stars helps a lot, and whatever you want to say is fine. It's not for our ego. It's really just for business. So thank you so much. Also, shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Check it out. All sorts of merchandise, new stuff up all the time. If you hear something crazy go on, there'll probably be a t-shirt about it pretty soon. So check on that and check everything out there. Also check out patreon.com/crime and sports for all of your bonus content. Oh my goodness, so much bonus content. The last week's, which you can still get, obviously, you can get the whole back catalog if you subscribe, but you get it for both shows. The crime and sports one was Danny Almonte, who was the Little League pitcher in the Little League World Series, national darling, who turned out to be not quite a little leaguer.
Almost a little.
A little older than a little leaguer, we'll say. So, that was a crazy story. And then the small town murder one, and that guy was out of his mind. We had a family tree that was more like what do we call it, a family hibiscus, like a family bougainvillea.
It's a good bougainvillea. There's thorns and the flowers are useless.
It's a mess. So check that out. A wild case out of Oregon. And this week coming up, or the next week, the next episode of Bonus will be the prisoner dating game.
Yes.
My God, it's back again. So that is it's our best thing we do. So check that out. It is. It's the most fun thing that we do overall. I don't care what anybody says.
It's really,
It really is. Patreon.com
We've made a thing of it.
/crime and sports. Yeah, absolutely. So do that. And also, Jimmy will mispronounce your name terribly at the end of the show. It'll be a disaster. But you'll be a producer and we will appreciate you. And if you just want to be a nice person and also be a producer and have your name brutally mispronounced, you can do that very easily by going to PayPal. Use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Right.
And with that said, the disclaimer, it's a comedy show, everybody.
Yeah.
Comedy show first and foremost, but also, well, it's not first and foremost. It's 1A, 1 and 1A with getting it right also. It's not we don't make anything up so it's funnier. Nothing like that. All the facts are real. We go to painstaking lengths to make sure that everything is real and everything like that. That's how we do things. So we also go out of our way to make sure not to make fun of the victim or the victim's family. We try our best because we're assholes.
What?
Well, we're not scumbags.
That's
how that works. Yeah. Why do that? So if you think that sounds great, man, are we going to have fun because it's a wild story. If not, you think, true crime and comedy should never go together? Maybe we're not for you.
Yeah.
Who knows? You should give it a shot because maybe we are, but no complaining if we're not. That's what we're saying here.
Run along, little doggy.
That's what we're saying. So for everybody else that wants to hear a crazy story and have a good time, I think it's time to sit back and shout, "Shut up
and give me murder."
Let's do this, Jimmy.
I love it, James.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
I'd like that.
We're coming from Fishkill. I'm coming out of my home there, my hometown, and heading to Oklahoma. Let's go down.
A lot of people did that. From New York to Oklahoma. So tons of people. They ran to that west, and then wagon trains broke down, mules died, and they were stuck.
Yeah, not so much from New York, though.
No?
That was more.
I'm sure a lot did still.
It's more southern people.
10 is a lot,
there.
James.
It's true.
I'll bet 10 did it.
10's a good amount. You're right.
That's too many.
If 10 people were trying to break into your house, you'd call the cops and go, "There's a lot of people trying to break into my house." That's a good point. How many? I don't know. A lot. A whole bunch. They're covering every window and entry and door.
There are what I would call several, sir.
You're right. That's plenty. Let's just say plenty. Okay. 911, there's plenty of people trying to break into my house. Plenty. It's an odd number. So we're going to Chickasha, Oklahoma.
Okay.
It's spelled Chickasha. So they really definitely want you to be definitely here.
Yeah.
I would say
that's really opening the door for y'all to correct us
on a lot of things. Yeah, I feel like this is definitely one where they're like, let's leave something off the end. Let's make sure it's
a conversation starter.
Yeah, everyone's going to get it wrong.
Let's start these conversations off real aggressive, like you pronounced it wrong.
Hey, you're wrong. Nice to meet you. I'm Bob.
Thanks for coming. You're wrong.
You wrong asshole. So this is in central Oklahoma.
People love that. They love to correct you. That's their favorite. There's nothing that people love more than fucking being right.
It's amazing. To correct on something as a pronunciation that nobody except the few thousand people that live there care about is the greatest thing in the world. So it's awesome. So this is central Oklahoma, kind of leaning toward the southwest of Oklahoma a little bit. It's not far from Dean, Texas a couple weeks ago, to be honest with you here. Yeah, it's about 45 minutes to Oklahoma City. About 3 hours and 15 minutes to Dallas, down in that direction. And it's only 31 minutes to Mustang, Oklahoma, which was our last Oklahoma episode, episode 180. With that was a wild one with the woman who killed her husband and was like, I think a guy broke in and then drove away. I don't know. That was a good one. Anyway, this is in Grady County, area code 405. It's a big area, 22 square miles.
Fuck.
So all of these areas are huge because it's just spread out so much. You can't. I feel like anybody who lives in Oklahoma or Texas and has like a normal lot, like a third of an acre or a quarter acre, I feel like they really just are sad.
Definitely not living up to your fucking Texas, Oklahoma potential.
They feel down on themselves, because I was watching House Hunters and this guy had his bachelor pad and it was on 10 acres. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot.
Good for you, sir.
That's a lot, you know what I mean? Like,
how many women do you expect to be having over?
It was a small house. It was just a small house in the middle of a lot of dirt. And he's like, I love the view, and it's just nothing. It's just, it's wild. So,
I love how much shit I can see.
Yeah. Town motto of Chickasha. I mean, like you said, it's aggressive. It's right in your face. Quote, pronounce that, motherfucker. So
get into it.
They're getting right off the bat, like they're throwing the gauntlet down. You got to really get into it. History of this town, a brief history here. Chickasha was founded by Hobart John Stone Whitley. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a real party guy.
Hobart is a first name.
Hobart. We're naming him Hobart. Okay, honey, let's put that on the birth certificate. Whose idea was that? Like the one of the people, the father, the mother, one of them had to decide that was fine. They were going to allow their kid to be named Hobart. That wasn't a mutual decision.
That's bad news.
That's like, my grandfather was Hobart, and his grandfather before him was Hobart.
And every time Mom looks at that kid, she fucking hates him.
Like, can we call him Bart? No! He's Hobart!
It's a family name.
It's a family name. He was a land developer, banker, farmer, and Rock Island Railroad executive.
Oh.
That's a lot of shit to get into. Jesus Christ. When did this guy sleep? What the hell is going on? The founding of this town took place in 1892 when the Chicago, Rock Island, and Pacific Railways all built a track through what was then Indian territory. And so they said, fuck it, let's put a post office in.
May as well.
Which, June of 1892, one of the earliest industrial plants to come here was the Chickasha Cotton Oil Company, which established itself in 1899. So right away, we're getting into factories and shit. Chickasha, when it was founded, was located in Pontotoc County, which was the Chickasaw Nation's actual thing. And they were like, well, Chickasha, we'll call it Chickasha. Maybe we'll try to bastardize what they have going on.
Fucking Golden Ark? What is that?
Yeah, it's McDowell's is exactly what that is. Instead of the Big Mac, we got the Big Mick. Instead of the big chick, we got the big check. That's what that is. What the fuck is that?
God damn it.
So in 1908, the Oklahoma Industrial Institute and College for Girls was established in Chickasha.
Oh.
So it sounds very progressive.
It does.
How much you want to bet it isn't? You know?
They just left the words unwed mothers off of it.
That's what I mean, yeah. Or it's like a place where if you get pregnant out of wedlock, they send you there, and then you have to give your child to nuns to be raised or something. That's how it works. It's Industrial Institute for Girls. Industrial Institute for Girls back then probably went, this is how you wash dishes better.
Yeah.
This is how, like,
it's a real nice way to say forced labor.
Yeah. Like, it sounds wonderful, but you're like, I don't know. But a local rancher named J.B. Sparks donated the land for the school in memory of his daughter, Nellie. She was a Chickasha descendant, and the land had been part of her allotment.
Okay.
So he gave it to them.
In her memory, for after he beat her to death for leaving food on the table.
Yeah, that, or I think she had a date with a black guy, possibly. Yeah. I'm not sure which.
Or a guy at all.
Or a guy at all. I'm not positive. We're not. We can't be sure.
No.
She talked to a boy out in the back of church at one point, and I feel like that's what
it's in her memory.
So the Nellie Sparks Dormitory commemorated her, and they renamed the school the Oklahoma College for Women in 1916. Get rid of the industrial. It became coeducational in 1965 and renamed the Oklahoma College of Liberal Arts. And then renamed again in 1975 when Oklahoma realized that nothing there is liberal. They said, what are we doing? Jesus, we can't have that there.
Nothing's liberal nor artsy.
No, neither. So it was renamed. They make dream catchers, I'm sure, a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
A lot of those, probably.
Again, begrudgingly loved.
Yes,
begrudgingly hung from their rear view.
Yeah, and I know that there's a lot of Native American art there. These are obviously.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. These are not who attends this school.
Tons of cool shit. That's not what we're talking about. So it was renamed again in 1975, the University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma. So I believe that's what it is now. So during World War II, the Wilson and Bonefees Flying School opened in October of 1941 to train cadets of the U.S. Army Air Force.
Cool.
So that was there, and over 8,000 cadets completed training there during World War II. So that was helpful, I guess, the war effort. After the war, the facility became the Chickasha Municipal Airport, which is normal for military airports when they've outlived their usefulness to be taken over by civilians. Yeah. Also, during the war, this is kind of fucked up, all this. During the war, the Army built and used Borden General Hospital, which is fine. The site now contains Grady Memorial Hospital. Very cool. Five Oaks Medical Group, Southern Plain Medical Center, and Borden Park. So that was all built by the Army. That's good. They also built a prisoner of war camp there, established in 1944. And then when they were done with that, and up until now, still, it is the site of the Grady County Fairgrounds. So you go there and you get yourself a big fried, I don't know, some shit that's been fried that shouldn't be.
Ride ride that has duct tape all over it.
Yeah. It's while Satanic Bill fucking checks your Ferris wheel, because that's what he did. That's how everybody met him. So that's who works at Carney's. So as you get like a roast beef sandwich deep fried, we have to tell you that this was a prisoner of war camp. That
Beautiful.
Was a very sad place before you and your children decided to have joy here.
Unbelievable.
By the way, since you popped 3 balloons with that dart, here is a Def Leppard mirror. There you go. You've won that. Enjoy.
It says hysteria. Enjoy.
It's absolutely says hysteria. You'd like that. Also, here's a knockoff stuffed Barney. There you go. Even though no one's heard of Barney in 25 years. Your kids won't know who the fuck it is, but there you go. Enjoy.
We call him Blarney. He just doesn't have his green spots.
That's all. He's just like Barney, but with a shamrock on him. He's Blarney. Comes out for St. Patrick's Day.
All his green spots are in the shape of shamrock.
That's all it is, because he's Blarney.
Congratulations on getting your basketball through our bent hoop. Here's Blarney.
Enjoy, everybody.
God damn it, I hate carnivals.
I hate them a lot. So
it's
especially when they're on prisoner of war campgrounds, I hate them even worse. Jesus Christ. So in 1999, Chickasha was hit by an F2 tornado.
Oh no.
Which sucks, which, I mean, in this area, this is it's a matter of time. You're rolling the dice every day there. It really is.
F2 doesn't sound that strong. Helen Hunt survived an F5 in a fucking gardening shack.
Well, clearly, if you have a belt on you, you'll be fine.
Right.
So
you just need that leather strap. You're going to be all right.
Everybody,
tie it to the water pipe.
Yeah. Even if you're wearing like warm-up pants, just slap a leather belt over the top of it, just in case. I feel like everyone has one handy there. Get your
warm-up pants and a sick wife beater with no bra. Yeah. Get into it. Just get a leather strap. You'll be all right.
I'm telling you, everybody there is beginning of tornado season. It's like, all right, everybody got their storm cellars ready. Yeah, you got your belts. Don't go out this house without a belt now. Telling their kids.
Beans and rice in the storm cellar and grab your Levi's belts.
Just tons of belts. So I have some reviews of this town.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start a thing where if there's good reviews, I'm going to give a really good review too. So we got to give balance to the whole thing.
Okay.
Here. And you can see. So here's a 5-star review. They love this place. The town of Chickasha is a basic Oklahoma town. People here like high school football on Friday nights and going to church on Sundays, with an apostrophe, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for a quiet place to settle down, this is a goods place to be. I'm reading it exactly.
Stop that.
That's what it says in the
Plural
text.
good.
So it's a goods place. Now, the S is next to the D on the keyboard, so you might have just, they might have just did one of those. Yeah. We're not going to blame it on the education system in here. But this sounds like a great place if you like shit like that. If you're me, this sounds like a nightmare. This sounds like I'd rather be in a prisoner of war camp than have to go to watch children play football on Friday night and then go to church on Sunday. That sounds awful. But a lot of people like that, and if you like that, good for you. I don't know. Enjoy. What do you want? So here's a 3-star review. Mm-hmm. Great small town, has the basic commodities like Walmart, McDonald's, etc. You know, all you need.
Right.
The people you will meet are mostly friendly. Cool downtown area. Super cool with that McDonald's and that Walmart. Just hang out in front of it. Sounds cool, you know, like real fucking hip. Here's 3 stars. Chickasha is a very safe place to be, minus the occasional mishaps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a place is half decent when they call crime mishaps. When a family of 4 was murdered, that's a mishap. That's the damn mishaps that happen with that fucking murders all the time. Remember when that family of 4 was butchered alive? Yeah. Mishaps. It's a son of a bitch. It really is. I don't know why mishaps is making me so happy.
Place is like a Lee Bryce music video.
So it sounds like, I don't know who that is, but I assume he's a country guy.
He is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured he is. Figured he has a hat and stuff.
If I mention him and as a music video about a town, probably country.
Probably, yeah. If I don't know who it is, it's country. So yeah,
that's the other part of that. If it's a reference that I mention about a town and you don't know who he is, he's probably country.
It's probably going to be country. Yeah, I would say. So something I think that could improve is some of the stoplights around town. I don't know if they want to get rid of them.
Too long, too short?
Improve them. They don't.
Too many,
they don't
not enough.
Oh, here we go. Sometimes I'll be sitting at a light with no other cars around, quote, for longer than I should be.
Okay.
Well, that's it. I was there slightly longer than I should be, Jimmy. That was... No.
It doesn't give a time reference of like, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes. How long is too long, sir?
I mean, it must be decent if that's the picky shit here.
Yeah.
3 stars. Chickasha is a town where anything and almost anything can happen. Oh my. Wow, it's hot.
Here's another question though for that fella. You're sitting at a red light and there's no other cars. Why are you sitting at a red light? That's on you, my man. Fucking go.
Yeah, what do we do? Well, maybe there's cameras there, like in Arizona.
Fuck them. What are they going to do?
You get tickets. You pay a ticket now.
Make a right, make a U-turn, make another right.
Do something. Back
go
up.
Go around it.
Figure it out. But apparently this is a huge problem in Chickasha. Yeah. Living in Chickasha can be a scary place. Yeah. Almost anything can happen. There is crime in the town, but it's not that bad. Just mishaps, apparently.
Yeah.
The town of Chickasha has a few fun things to do, such as bowling and laser tag. Whoa. Jesus. I would think that if we had less food places and more fun things to get us out doing stuff instead of eating the town. Wow. Instead of eating the town of Chickasha. They just missed a comma there. Eating, comma, the town of Chickasha could possibly be more healthier.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my.
We have a few playgrounds and a library. Then there is a thrift store for more affordable clothing. They already mentioned Walmart. The town of Chickasha is very small, but it is very living with people. It is very living with people, Jimmy, so there's that. And here's the sole 1-star review I could find.
Okay.
1 sentence, very to the point. Quote, "The weather here will surprise you."
Oh,
very mysterious. 1 star.
That could go so many ways.
It's so right. I'm intrigued. I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to intrigue you into asking more. People from this town. Cleavon Little is from here.
Stop it.
Fuck yes.
Cleavon Little's from Chickasha.
He was born in Chickasha, Jimmy. Cleavon Little, if you don't know who Cleavon Little is, he is fucking Sheriff Bart in Blazing Saddles.
He's
and a lot of other things. He's a great actor.
Oh my God,
hilarious!
I loved him.
That's just what he's most
Once
commonly
Bitten.
known for.
Once Bitten is one of his best roles. So good.
He's great in there. He's hilarious in Once Bitten. I love that movie. It's such a piece of shit. I used to watch it constantly when I was a kid.
Such a bad movie and so good.
Watched it constantly as a kid. Constantly. You know what? We're going to do that for PS I Hate This Movie this week.
Oh, my God. It's so good.
I'm doing Once Bitten, Jimmy.
I love Jim Carrey as a young man before we find out how weird he is and how funny he is. It's really discovering Jim Carrey.
Him trying to play like just a straight role where he's not Jim Carrey and just going off is funny because you don't really ever get to see that again.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
It takes so long to get to the Truman Show.
Well, yeah, once In Living Color hits, it's, Ace Ventura and The Mask and all that shit.
Right.
So, population of this town, people, 16,256 people. Okay. Decent amount. I mean, it's that close to Oklahoma City, driving distance, so this can be a suburb. More females than males, which is odd in kind of a rural area. It's usually the opposite, but this is like 52 to 48%. Median age is right in line with the rest of the country, about 37 and a half. Few less married people than usual here, which is odd. I don't get why. Usually these type of areas are more. The divorce rate's higher, almost double. I don't know what to make of that. More widowed people, so they will find a way out of marriage one way or the other.
I like it.
In this town. Yeah, they'll one way or the other, they're getting out of this shit. And race of this town, 74.6% white. So it's normally about 62%, 6.1% black, 0.6% Asian, so not many Asians there. Sure. 2.6% Native American.
Really?
Which is actually way more than the normal. And then 9.4% Hispanic here. Religious, 47.5% are religious, which is way lower than Mustang, which was only a half hour away. That was like 65% or something. So I don't know what to make of that. Most of the people, 27.5% of the people here are Baptists.
Yeah.
As we know, Baptists are the Catholics of the tornado belt. I guess.
The dizzy Catholics.
Yes. Catholics with belts. That's what they are.
This is a Catholic Dorothy country. I like it.
That's what it is. 0.0% Jewish, which is kind of crazy for over 16,000 people. Mm-hmm. That's wild, isn't it? 0.0% Muslim. This county, in Grady County, last election, 17% voted Democrat and 77% voted Republican.
That's interesting.
About 5% independent. Unemployment rate here is about normal, but the income is not that great. Normally, it's about $57,500 in the rest of the country. Here, the median household income is $40,376. Oh, it's low. All the income levels are low. A lot of families make under $40,000 a year.
Really?
It's not luckily, it's kind of cheap to live here. The cost of living is 100 would be regular, average. Here, it's about 78. And some of the things are high, like healthcare is really high here for some reason, but the home cost is low. Housing is a 31 out of 100.
Really?
Very low. Median home cost here, Jimmy, $71,400.
What is that? Why are the homes so affordable in the places where a tornado can destroy? You'd think that they'd be unbelievably strong. You know what I mean?
They're not. I think you just answered your own question.
I get it. But you'd think that they would build them unbelievably strong, making them unbelievably valuable, right?
So who the hell would move to the middle of a dusty plain in Oklahoma to buy an $800,000 3-bedroom house?
Steel house?
No one's doing that. No one's moving there.
Yeah, I guess you got a point.
You'd be fucked.
Drill your foundations 20 feet deep and build that fucker out of I-beams and steel.
You build your pile of shit and you get your bingo card out and hope your number's not called. That's all you can do. That's it. I mean, that's it. It's like if you're living in an earthquake area, it's the same thing. You build your house, you can try to get your foundation as good as it's going to be, but let's face it, if a 8.5 hits, a lot of this shit's going to fall down. That's all there is to it. I mean, the ground's literally fucking shaking violently. Yeah. We can only
build it cheap as fuck, make it look decent, and then have insurance, and who gives a fuck?
And when it blows away, you go, well, shit.
Good thing I got insurance.
That's it. So almost 80% of the houses here are worth under $150,000.
My God.
So it's a low thing. And if you know what? We've convinced you.
Yeah.
You need this. We have for you the Chickasha, Oklahoma Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $700 a month.
Yeah.
So that's way less. It's about $1,300 in the rest of the country. So pretty low. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 744 square foot house that looks condemned would be the best way to put it, I guess.
The condemned cover of an Eminem CD.
It really does. It looks like absolutely. It has dark pink carpet in the bathroom.
Whoa. What?
It could be blood. I'm not sure.
I was just about to ask you, are you sure?
It could be an attempt to clean blood off of a white carpet, and now it's a light pink, rosy-looking carpet.
Holy shit.
In the bathroom, around the toilet, Jimmy.
No!
Around the toilet. Imagine how much urine is collected in there over the years.
A little darker ring right around the toilet, right?
But absolutely. $38,000 for this
Oh,
thing.
my.
So that's something. Here's one. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. 1,505 square feet.
Okay.
Now, from the outside, it looks like a house. It's built and it's got, stuff on it and siding and it's painted and there's doors and windows. Inside, it's just framed. It's just framed with
new?
raw subfloor, no
new?
counters. It's literally, you got to put drywall up.
Not done yet, but
totally not. I think it's gutted though. I don't think it's an older house. It is 2.33 acres too though it sits on $53,500.
My Christ, that's so cheap.
Could be worth the project if you're into that sort of thing. Then I found a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,620 square feet. It's brick, Jimmy. There's your tornado holder.
There you go.
It's going to hold right up. You can put your belt around this house. It's a decent house, $129,900. So that's the difference.
How many square feet? 2,000?
1,620.
Okay.
But it's
doable. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why it's a little more expensive, though, because that's a more sturdy house. So
3 little pigs, babe.
Yeah, people are going to look at that and then go, I could rip that carpet up from around that toilet for $38,000. And that's what happens, because it's just so much cheaper. It's the thing. Things to do here, the Festival of Lights.
Oh.
Which should be, in parentheses, not Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Because they don't mean that, but they say
also,
that.
Not Disneyland.
Yes. I feel like it's a trap. But apparently it's received many prestigious awards, including the Regional Event of the Year. I don't know who gives that out.
And how big is that region?
Regional Event of the Year, an ABA Top 100 event, again, who the fuck knows, National Top 25 Holiday Event, Festival of the Year, Best Community Festival Event, and Best Place to Take Out-of-Town Visitors.
They're winning the good ones, James.
Yeah, I don't know if the same high school newspaper gave out all those awards or just some of them. Or
one festival contest.
And then here's another place that I love, the Muscle Car Ranch.
All right.
This is where they raise they raise and breed the finest muscle cars in the Southwest, Jimmy. Raise them
See
up.
what I'm about to do? I'm going to get this 79 Duster over here to artificially inseminate this 69 Nova.
That's right. See, we raise them up from little hybrids till they become big old muscle cars.
Big old strong muscle cars.
Then we slaughter them. Just for the fun of it.
Then we drive it drunk down the road, and that's what we call slaughtering it.
They have concerts there at this place. Back in the day, they had, in the 60s, the Byrds and the Paul Revere and the Raiders, Jefferson Airplane, all this type of shit. Bad Company back in the day, which is an odd one to throw in the mix there.
It's all muscle car shit. It's what people that have muscle cars listen to.
Absolutely. Like, Bad Company. Woo!
Yeah, fuck yes.
Sing it. They have a swap meet there as well. So they have a large swap meet that meets there. You got to have that. And then finally, they have a 3-day weekend music festival there called Twister Fest.
What?
Let's celebrate our ultimate demise, everyone.
Stop this.
That's amazing.
They celebrate
awesome.
there's no Earthquake Fest in L.A.
No, there isn't. That's like being on death row and having lethal injection fest among your. We're all going to party. Like it's going to take us. It's going to take us all.
We're going to have a death row party. All Tupac songs and then Metallica's "Ride the Lightning." We're playing it all.
Oh man. It says to come join us and be a part of the cyclone that is Twister Fest.
No, stop this. Don't celebrate this.
Hey, it's got to get dark with that. And
Jesus Christ.
Shit, man. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in here. Property crime, a little bit high. It's about 20% above the national average, so a little high. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, as we all know, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about 25% higher than the national average. So it's fucking dangerous here somehow. Yeah. I don't know how.
James, they're ruthless people. They celebrate tornadoes.
So that said that they're an aggressive people who celebrate tornadoes, celebrate the cause of their ultimate demise. Let's talk about a murder.
All right.
Seems only proper and appropriate, doesn't it?
I feel like this is definitely a town that is not going to be pissed that we mention it.
I hope not. I mean, I feel like we gave it whatever due it was. We gave it its 5-star review. I don't know. What do you want from me? Otherwise, I can only do what I can do.
Hurry up and get the murder over so we can talk about the Rock and Roll Ranch. What was it? Muscle Car.
I want to talk about Muscle Car Ranch again. I'll tell you what, boy. You see those little muscle cars running around. It just warms your heart. You just know they're going to grow up someday, make somebody very happy. And it's just like,
Expecting a new litter come next month.
Oh, they're coming. It's going to be beautiful. Bunch of little cults. So, hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping, you got a car payment due, there's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
First of all, in this murder, let's talk about a fella, shall we? Let's talk about a guy named Charles Keene, Keene.
Okay.
Keene.
Yep.
Charles Keene, nobody calls him Charles, though.
Chucky.
You think people call him No, not Chuck either.
Chuck?
Chip?
Chucky?
No. Chaz? I don't think so. Buck is what they call him.
Okay. At least it rhymes with the common nickname.
So he's Buck Keene.
Okay.
Is whatever. There's a lot of people in this story with animal nicknames. I don't know what it is about Oklahoma or what's going on here, but everyone's got an animal nickname that just everyone calls him that. So I get Buck here. Buck Keene. Buck was born May 5th, 1956.
Okay.
And we are going to catch up with Buck in the early 80s, early 1980s. So we're going to go back a little bit of time. Everyone's hair is nice and feathered.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He's
Mullets reign.
20s, yes.
Oh, yeah. Mullets reign supreme in this era.
Hell
in every region. But in Oklahoma, I feel like the mullets are going to be harder and faster.
I think this is where Billy Ray is from. I think he's from Oklahoma, isn't he?
I don't know. That hairdo seems
that's
what I'm talking about.
That is,
prime time King
1994.
Achy breaky hair that I feel like is happening big time in the early 80s here. Mm-hmm. So Buck has been married to and divorced from a woman named Vicki Thompson. Vicki Lynn Thompson, to be exact.
Of course.
Vicki Lynn.
Yeah.
Vicki Lynn. So Vicki Lynn Keene now she's going by.
Okay.
So Vicki Lynn here, they were married. They have 2 small children, both boys at this point in 1983.
Okay.
So, it didn't work out, though. They broke up and they got divorced. But somehow, I don't know what happened, but by the time January 1983 comes around, he is living with Vicki and the kids again, even though they're
Buck
not
is
together.
Back.
Yeah, Buck is back.
Yep.
They're not together. They're still divorced.
The sequel.
And it's what it is, man. It's the sitcom that followed.
Sitcom called Achy Breaky Heart and Buck is Back.
Please, no one make Buck is Back. I beg of you. John Hughes, whether you like his movies or not, one thing that he did that was wonderful is he said, "No one's ever remaking my shit.
Yeah, it's done.
You're just not. It's my estate isn't allowed to fucking sell my shit to be remade.
Yeah,
nothing can be remade unless I want it to fucking be remade, and that's. I know they made 45 Home Alones, but you don't see the Lunch Club now, like it's a sequel, and it's a bunch of chicks in detention, because that's what it would be now, just a bunch of 16-year-old girls in detention, who figure out how to I don't know, rig the stock market to their advantage or something crazy.
Listen,
shit.
You got to get that the mid-30s going through a divorce rom-com Beauty in Black.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So no. Not happening. I like that. Yeah, Molly Ringwald now. She's divorced.
She's a pissed off girl with a oxy
like 52
habit.
Years old. Yeah, she's like 52 years old, 3 times divorced, 2 kids.
Bottle of rosé under her desk at work.
box of Franzia waiting for her at home. It's really it's a sad state of affairs. Things have gone awry.
Washing down an oxy at lunch.
Imagine what Judd Nelson's character would look like now. Oh, God.
Damn it.
Just fat and bald and covered in beer stains.
Just the guy from Airheads, because that's what he was.
Good call.
That radio exec.
Perfectly, he
was just playing himself.
Yeah, there you go. Future me. So they're divorced. Now, the problem is, the reason why they're divorced is Buck is not very nice to Vicki. Buck, for years, the reason they got divorced is because Buck beat the shit out of Vicki many, many times. It's a known thing in the family and everything like that. Not to mention, she's got like brothers and cousins and relatives all around. He's beaten up her younger brother, who was a early teenager, and like 13, 12 years old. He beat her. Buck beat him up too. That's William Wayne Thompson, who goes by Wayne. Yeah. So Wayne Thompson, he's gotten the shit beaten out of him at this point too. Okay. He's 15 years old in 1983 and pissed off at Buck.
Sure.
For now, he's back. He's back with my sister. He's messing with her again.
Right.
So and he beat me up.
My jaw.
Yeah, exactly. God damn it. Head out to Muscle Car Ranch for some training. So, also, a couple other people in the mix here are Danny Mann and Anthony James Mann. So, Tony Mann. So, Danny Mann and Tony Mann are also Vicky's brothers. Okay. So, I assume different father or whatever, but they're also her brothers. So, she's got a bunch of brothers here. Anthony James Mann is 27 years old. Tony Mann. So, Tony has had some issues in the past. Nothing huge, but some stuff. His record at this point consists of second-degree burglary at one point and a charge of possession of marijuana. So, I mean, the burglary's bad, but I don't really care about the weed. He received a deferred sentence and a suspended sentence and an application for revocation of the suspended sentence based on a claim that he concealed more stolen property, being a pistol, was done too. So he's had some run-ins with the law.
Yeah.
Just kind of a
Anthony?
local. This is Tony. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
local fuck
right.
up.
Those charges, and his name is Anthony. He should go by Ant-Man. That is fantastic.
Yeah. That's perfect.
His last name is Man? That's incredible.
Ant-Man. Yep, that's the guy. Anthony James, but he goes by Tony instead. Yeah. He's just Tony Man.
Because he isn't.
Double N.
Yeah. Comic books, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, anyway, on the afternoon of January 22nd, 1983, Danny Mann and Anthony James Mann, Tony Mann, they show up to Vicky and Buck's trailer.
I'm sorry. I'm such a child. I can't get over Dan Man and Ant Man is the greatest duo of brothers
ever.
The
kid Dan Man.
His middle name should just be the.
Danny Mann and Anthony James Mann. Yeah. So Aunt Jimmy Mann and Dan Mann are the two. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. And Vicky Lynn. It's all. I looked at a case. Oh, never mind, because we might do that case. I was going to say that. I was looking at one case, and the guy had the craziest. The guy in this case, not this one, but a different one's name was Billy Mike. And I'm like, Billy Mike? No, you can't be Billy Mike. That just means there was a lot of Billies.
Right.
And you got to be Billy Mike, because that's your middle name.
Just to set you apart and know when we're talking to you.
It's fucking hilarious. I'm like, Billy Mike? No. So Dan Man and Ant Man, they show up with Vicky to the trailer. This is Vicky and Buck's trailer,
right,
to retrieve Vicky's car, which is there. Okay. So seems like a simple operation. Two brothers and a sister go to retrieve her car. Do you think they got the car from Buck?
No.
So, well, no, they don't, because Buck chases Ant-Man and Dan Man out of Vicky's trailer with a butcher knife.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Y'all get the fuck on out of here. You didn't call me Buck for nothing. And he just went after him.
With a knife.
With a butcher knife.
Yeah.
He chased them. This is the funny part.
Buck's got a knife. Ant-Man's charged with theft.
Theft, weapons,
shit
everything
is
else.
Unbelievable.
I always picture, what if the neighbor's looking out the window? This is my number one thing with shit like this when there's a crazy scene.
Yeah.
Imagine this scene, you go out the window. Looks normal. They pull up in the car.
Yeah.
Vicky gets out. She lives there, so that's normal. She got her two brothers with her. You've probably seen them before.
Yeah.
They get out of the car. They go into the trailer. Door closes behind them. You don't hear anything, obviously. You're across the street. And then all of a sudden, the door swings open. People burst from it, running like it's on fire, with one of the men chasing with a fucking butcher knife into the yard. How awesome would that be to watch? Obviously, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but that's awesome. That's better than a TV show. If you saw that on Live PD, you'd go, that's the best episode I've ever seen.
Buck's got a knife, you guys. This is crazy.
This is crazy. Hey, guys, Buck, come here. Everyone, hold on. Hit the record. So he chased him out of the trailer with a butcher knife. So after this encounter, they actually did the right thing. Dan Man, Ant Man, and Vicky rather than like, going somewhere to retrieve a bazooka and seek revenge on him by, blowing the trailer to pieces or some crazy shit like that, they actually went to the deputy sheriff's office.
Oh, great.
Wow. This never happens in our stories. No one ever does the right thing.
Yeah.
So they went there. They said, look, he's in the house. They, he beats the shit out of her all the time. We go to get the car, and he chased us out with a fucking butcher knife. And the sheriff said, nothing we can do about it.
What? That's assault.
Nothing can be done,
right?
No, they said nothing can be done. He was in his house. If he didn't want you there, I mean.
Oh, their castle doctrine is so strong.
He chose an odd way to ask you to leave, but I mean, it's kind of up to him how he wants to do it.
So he had a knife. Y'all should just be happy he didn't have a gun. We could be burying y'all's asses and not arresting him still.
He could come in and say, I was cutting the tips off of my asparagus, right? And they came in my house, and I didn't even realize I still had it in my hand. Then what? I'm shit out of luck
now. Trimming the burnt ends, and there they are.
There they are. I drove all the way out there for nothing now. I ain't wasting the county's gas. All right, now y'all go on your way now. I feel like that's what happened. Nothing can be done? What the fuck is that? Something can be. At least go talk to the guy.
Yeah.
Hey, can you do me a favor, not beat the shit out of your ex-wife or try to stab her relatives, please? I mean,
yeah, at minimum. I mean,
something. Instead, since nothing can be done there, Tony Mann says, okay, I fear for my sister's life. Tell you what, sis, here is a .45 caliber pistol for you.
My God.
Take that home. Take this hand cannon home with you.
Yeah. Hey, sis, I've got a few guns. Why don't you take the biggest fucker I own?
Take the big one. I mean, really, if you miss him, he'll be deaf anyway, so it don't matter. You can run out the house while he's screaming for his fucking tinnitus that he's going to have for the rest of his life. So I feel like, maybe that was the key, but
if you miss, you'll still collapse his eardrums. Don't worry.
You'll still indeafen him, so it ain't no big thing. He'll be indefinite. So
a .45 inside a fucking trailer. We'll have to blow the fucking doors off that thing.
Those plastic tiny windows would pop right out. They wouldn't even break. They just go
plexi slats.
Yeah, they wouldn't even break. They just pop right out of the frames.
Or they just bow as the concussion goes through them, and they'd snap back into place.
But by the way, when they were running out with the butcher knife, all I could think of was, I can't remember what episode it was. It might have been Phillips, Oklahoma, honestly. I'm not positive. But there's an episode where two people got stuck trying to get out a trailer door at the same time. That's all I could think of was Ant-Man and Dan-Man, like that noise that makes when you almost knock a trailer off its foundation, off its cinder blocks. Off its cinder blocks as you get stuck going through
Take it easy with the running. You're going to knock the house off the jack stands.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Then what? This would be the name of the episode. And then what? That's going to happen a lot. So Vicky's got a .45.
Oh,
so she's this is so she could defend herself. I consider her defended. She's got a .45. It's a lot of
self-defense.
It's a lot of gun there.
Yeah.
So enter her brother, who we mentioned before, William Wayne Thompson.
The youngster.
Wayne, he goes by. He's 15 years old. He's Vicky's half-brother also. He has also suffered, like we said, the wrath of Buck.
Right.
He has been physically abused by Buck in the past as well. So Buck seems like a real good guy. He's just chasing people with knives, beating the shit out of his wife and her little brother. This doesn't seem like a real good guy, this Buck.
This is a father.
Two young boys.
Yeah.
He can raise them to have wonderful feelings toward the world, I'm sure. They're going to be really well-adjusted, I think, and happy and never angry at all. So he hears about this whole thing. Wayne Thompson, his mom, and who is also Vicky's mom, she tells him, they tried to go over and get the car, got chased out with a butcher knife, went to the deputy sheriff, the whole deal. So he hears all this and he's like, Jesus Christ, I don't like this at all. He also saw the loaded gun on the kitchen cabinet in his mother's house as well at the time before it was taken. So he gathers up a couple of his friends, all right? Gathers up a few of his friends here. Richard Neal Jones is one of them.
Yep.
So Dickie Jones, we're going to call him. Dickie Jones, and who's 23 years old at the time.
Okay.
15, 23. Let's all hang out. and another friend of his named Bobby Glass, who is 19 years old at the time. 15, 19, 23. Yeah. Just whoever's around, I feel like, is hanging out.
Whichever one of you still like the same shit I like.
Yeah, drinking, I feel like, is what that is here, just drinking. So they are, and another guy who's not important, they're sitting around that night. This is the same night of the butcher knife incident, and they're trying to figure out what to do. Now, while doing that, there's certain things you want to, enhancements, when planning something or trying to decide a logical course of action, you want to be drinking, smoking weed, and taking a bunch of Valium at the same time.
When you need your head clearest, you got to throw the clouds. Yeah,
you throw everything in there. Now, I feel if you have one of the three, you might be able to focus. But
only the Valium or the weed. The alcohol will never allow you to focus.
It's going to give you bad ideas, the drinking, probably. But the three of those things together, I feel like any ideas that come out of that are going to be really poor.
Right.
It's like, well, let's make a pie out of sponges. It's going to be something like that. That's not a good idea.
I'm shocked that they had any ideas other than, we could take a nap. I mean, there's that.
We go down to the McDonald's. I hear that was
just in case.
I'm hungry.
We could get McDonald's and then take a nap.
And in the McDonald's parking lot. I'm
not opposed.
They just put in a McDowell's. Maybe we'll go down there. I feel like the line will be shorter.
And I'm down to that golden arc.
Yeah, no shit. So they were all hanging out, and this is like we said, Glass, Bobby Glass, Dickie Jones, Tony Mann. Yeah. Dan Mann's gone now. Just Tony Mann's left hanging out. He's the one with the criminal record. They're all sitting around. This is when Wayne Thompson, the 15-year-old, joins the group to hang out. Tony Mann is 27, by the way. So this group is 15, 19, 23, 27.
Wild.
It's a large age gap in this whole group here. It's a fucking age progression thing on the side of a milk carton. This is going on.
It certainly doesn't make any goddamn sense so far.
No. So they're all hanging out. He joins them. Tony Mann says, pull on up a chair, little brother. So Mann, as the kind of the oldest and the ringleader of the group, they hatch a plan. Okay. He says, here's the plan. This is what we're going to do. We're going to run Buck off. All right? There's a bunch of us here. Yeah. We can do it. Now, he can't have that butcher knife all the time. They're going to run him off by beating him up. Okay? They're going to beat the shit out of him, throw him in the car, drive him out to a highway in the middle of nowhere, drop him off with instructions never to come back again, or you're going to get more of that.
Okay. They're going to Harry and the Henderson.
Go! But with an ass kicking beforehand.
Right.
They're going to beat him up, just throw him in the car. Yeah, this is basically like a 50s Vegas guy who's tried to cheat the casino one too many times. And they're going to beat the shit out of him, take him to the desert and go, if we ever fucking see you in town again, we're going to cut your goddamn head off. That's what they did, basically.
We're doing you a favor.
We're doing you a favor. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I could just dig a hole.
Boss said kill you.
I mean, but I said, hey, you know what I mean? We'll just take a ride. I think you'll get the picture, Right. So that's the plan, which sounds like a great plan. This will work. They said, well, the sheriff won't do anything to get him out of there. This is the only thing we can do.
We're going to treat him like a dog that shits on the carpet too much. Just take him out in the woods, kick him a few times, and tell him to go on his own way.
That's not, by the way, just, see, I want to laugh and continue joking, but that's not what we would do with the dog.
No.
We're talking about what a bad person would do with a dog. That's the point. That's why you have to clarify. Otherwise, someone's going to go, they said if a dog shit in the house, they'd beat it up and dump it off.
How many times have you done that, Jimmy?
Jesus,
too quick
Jimmy.
To you.
How many dogs do you have? Poor Vaughn. So now Charles Keene, Buck, we should say. Now Buck has had. You can see this is the thing. You're going, oh God, yeah, you beat the shit out of Buck and dump him off, obviously, because he beats the shit out of Vicky. Totally understandable thought to have, and especially with the butcher knife thing, you go, well, that seems unreasonable to chase someone out with a butcher knife, but this isn't the first incident that Buck has had with members of Vicky's family. About 4 years earlier, another member of Vicky's family shot Buck in an argument.
With what?
With a gun.
What kind
fucking
of
shot
gun?
him. I don't know the caliber of it because no charges were filed against him because he refused to. The whole family refused to say anything about it, so they ended up. The police just dropped the whole thing. They all said it was an accident, cleaning the gun, discharge, accident, bullshit. But we know that it's not. The guy shot him on purpose.
That's a story I wish I was a party to. I want to see that.
What I'm saying. So he's been shot by a member of her family before. So when they come in the house and go, we're taking the car, he grabs the nearest weapon, I feel like, at that point.
Yeah.
Which is sort of understandable here. This was because he thought Buck was going to kill his child. That's why. Apparently Buck had physically roughed up someone in the family's child, and so this person got a gun and came and shot him.
Not Buck's kid.
Not Buck's kid. Someone else's kid. I don't know if they were over there playing, smacked him around a little bit.
Sometimes you got to wing a man.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. This guy came over and settled the score for his child and shot him. So he survived it, old Buck. He's a tough one, obviously. And so, like I said, now he's a little quick on the butcher knife trigger nowadays, is all I'm saying. So no charges were filed in that whole incident somehow. He's beating people. He's beating children. Someone's shooting him, and the cops don't intervene at this at all.
Staggering.
Well, they seem to be figuring it out on their own. I mean, there was a beating. The child's name was it was rectified. We feel like his reputation was brought back. His honor has been brought back upon his name with the shooting.
Vengeance and justice served.
Everything's fine. So the next day, or that night, we should say, they go right from drinking and smoking and doing all that shit. They go, well, we're going to do this now, tonight. We're going to go get him. I feel like a 24-hour planning would have been better. Let's revisit this tomorrow afternoon, put together a good plan, do it tomorrow night. But you know what? Sometimes you got to go with the spur of the moment. So they bring in Bobby Glass was there, like we said, and old Richard Neal Jones, old Dickie Jones.
Yeah.
So they go over to the trailer with all of them, the whole group. This is Jones, Glass, Wayne Thompson, and Tony Mann. Mm-hmm. So 4 strong. They show up at the trailer, which is a lot for one guy. 4 people's a lot. One of them's 15, but still.
Yeah.
So apparently Buck doesn't offer a lot of resistance when they come to get him. They don't come and beat the shit out of him there. They're going to take him for a ride and then beat the shit out of him. That's the plan. So he goes and gets in the car. I don't know if they told him, hey, let's go drinking or what. But 2 of the people there were chased away, or one of the people there was chased away with a butcher knife about 12 hours earlier. So I feel like... I don't know if it was, hey, let's make up. Sorry about that earlier.
All's forgiven. We know we surprised you. We're sorry.
We're sorry.
We'll split a 12er and call it good.
We know you're jumpy, from the shooting and all. So anyway, they get in. Tony Mann drives while Bobby Glass and Wayne Thompson sit on both sides of Buck in the back. So Buck's in the middle seat there. And then Jones, according to Thompson, the 15-year-old Wayne Thompson, Jones is passed out in the front seat. He's out cold, sleeping the whole time while
Why don't we put
driving.
That guy in the back in the middle? The sitting arrangement is very precarious.
Well, for them, it's like gangsters taking somebody out. Like they got him so he can't jump out of the car, so they got him penned in.
They should know
Buck
that.
Penned in. I feel like he does, but I feel like he doesn't take these people seriously.
Okay.
That's the thing. I mean, Buck's a big guy. Buck's big. He's over 200 pounds. He's a big guy. Nobody here is like, he could kick the shit out of any of these people individually.
Okay.
That's the thing. He's bigger than all these people, but possibly together, if they do a Voltron type situation, they might be able to overtake him, I feel like is what they're thinking. So Jones passed out. They get to the river. Okay. They drive to the river. Once they get to the river, Tony Mann tells Keene, they all get out of the car and tells Keene, we're here to beat you up.
Yeah.
Just very formally announces it. We're here to beat you up.
I must proclaim.
So at that point, he breaks free and runs away from the group when he hears this. So they go chasing him around. So now they're chasing him around. Now there's 5 grown men running around in the dark through on a riverside. Yeah. Okay, this is what's going on. And it gets even fucking sillier than that, okay? They took him to a place near 4th Street in Chickasha, that's where they said that they were going to, quote, whoop his ass originally. Chickasha, sorry. Thank you. Bobby Glass said earlier Tony Mann had given him the pistol and told him, because they had the pistol with them, the one they gave to Vicky.
The 45.
They took it, the 45.
Yeah.
Glass says that Tony Mann had given it to him with instructions to keep it away from Wayne Thompson, the 15-year-old, because he's a real hothead and we don't want him doing something stupid with the gun. That was the implication here. So that's how it happened. So when the car stopped, like we said, he runs away. They eventually finally catch up to him, one of the four. I don't know how the fuck they do it. Bobby Glass, and Wayne Thompson eventually try to tackle him and physically overtake him. So they're wrestling out in the front yard now. Yeah. This is what's happening. So Thompson takes, somehow Glass has the pistol and somehow Thompson ends up with the pistol, the 45. Okay. Keene manages to wrestle it away from Thompson. That's the thing. If you're going to bring a gun, you better fucking make sure that someone doesn't take it from you, because then you're in deep shit.
You better hang on
so
to
this
that.
guy, he took the gun back away from him and a shot is fired. So like while they're wrestling, a shot's fired off, like in a movie when people are wrestling for a gun.
Right.
A shot's fired off. No one's hit by the shot. Okay. A wayward shot goes off.
Oh my God.
But it's a 45 in the Oklahoma night.
Right.
So that rings
goes
out
deep.
Oh,
no mountains for it to echo off of. It just goes and goes.
It goes and goes and goes, man. It gets cracking. So one shot, that's Keene ends up getting a shot off. He was holding the gun, Buck was, when the shot went off. Glass ends up wrestling the gun back away from him somehow. I don't know what the fuck they did, but he ends up getting it out of Keene's hand. So Keene is about 200 pounds, and Glass is not that big, and Thompson is about 115 pounds. He's a skinny 15-year-old. So this fight is, if it wasn't 2-on-1, it wouldn't be a very good fight at all. So this 2-on-1, I feel like if one gets the legs and one gets the top, you can distract the giant. I don't know. That's kind of the way they're going at it. So enter Myrtle and Possum Brown. Okay? Enter a man named Possum.
Okay.
All right, so we have a buck, and now let's put a possum into the mix. All right,
this is his real name.
No. No, it's Myrtle and Malcolm Brown. Malcolm, everyone calls him Possum.
Yeah,
and it's really funny to see in court documents of varying, because there's like 20 different sets of court documents for this. Yeah. In some of the documents, they just call him Possum because that's what everyone calls him. But in some of the court documents, someone was like, Possum, that's not proper. And they call him Opossum, which is not what people call him, but that's what it is. So they call him the proper name. A man, quote, Opossum. Nope, his name isn't Opossum. His name is just Possum. You got it all wrong.
Yeah.
So Possum
I'd like to
Brown,
know why they call him that. Does he like dig through the trash, or does he just sleep a lot?
I mean, he's got kind of a pointy face, I think, is all it is. I have no idea.
All right.
No idea why he likes to eat possum. What the fuck do we know? He kills possum. He fucked a possum at a party in 8th grade.
I can see that.
We don't know. That's what I mean. People get nicknames in weird ways. So, I mean, one late night possum love story could turn into a lifetime of a man being called Possum. So Myrtle and Possum Brown here, they live right by the Washita River, which is where they are. Yes, the word shit is right in that word. It's Wash-I-T-A. The word shit is in the middle of your river. So come on. Seriously?
Yeah.
Rename that. Make it a D. Make it Washita instead of Washita. Jesus Christ. They had been on vacation and got home early from They got home from vacation that night and decided to go to bed early because they were tired from traveling. So they went to bed early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. But they're awakened by the sound of a 45 being let off just outside their house, and also their dogs barking at said 45 being let off, and 5 grown men scuffling in a fucking, on a riverbank. So this is crazy. They're awoken by that. Then it's even harder to go back to sleep when a man begins pounding on their door.
Oh, my God.
Shouting, quote, Possum, let me in. They're going to kill me.
Oh, he knows them.
He knows them. Everyone knows everybody here. That's the thing. Yeah, they know Possum. Who the fuck? They're going to go kill this guy in Possum's yard? What are they thinking? Like, what the shit is happening? Possum, let me in. They're going to kill me. Mm-hmm. So the Browns looked outside. They didn't open the door. They're like, who's going to kill who? What the fuck? They didn't open the door. They looked outside, and they saw what they called 3 or 4 men beating another man.
They're doing it right there.
In front of Possum's door. Like on Possum's like front steps. He's like, you're stepping on my flowers. Jesus Christ.
I just planted those.
God damn it. Get off the grass. So I feel bad for Possum more than anybody.
This
Possum
is the worst
Myrtle.
part so far. I mean, poor man's just being drug into this. He was asleep. You're waking me up?
Yeah, but finally we get to see definitely my thing of what if you're looking out the window watching this? This guy actually gets to look out the window and watch this shit. And he watches them beating another man. Mm-hmm. And they said, though, it was too dark for them to identify who was who. Okay. They just saw 4 guys scuffling out there. And they said they heard one of the men say very loudly, quote, "This is for the way you treated our sister." So that they heard clearly.
Yeah.
That narrows it down a bit. So Possum telephones the sheriff's department. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Sheriff here." He's like, "This is Possum." Yeah. I got a non-possum related issue.
Yeah.
Possum, that you over there? You know it, pal. He calls him up on the CB. So he phones the sheriff. Breaker, sheriff. But the men left soon after they realized that Possum was in the house. Yeah. Apparently they thought Possum wasn't home.
Oh, they thought he was on vacation, there. James.
Because, so Possum wasn't, though. So they ended up leaving by the time the sheriff got there. They're not there anymore. So, and they said, Possum said it was too dark to recognize anybody. Doesn't know shit. They left. I don't know. Crazy night. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So what the hell ends up happening is, this is the way Wayne Thompson puts it, okay? He said, quote, this is before the scuffle to begin with. He says, quote, I was going to even up the size, so I got that 45 and he grabbed it. So that was his thing. It was, he's bigger than me.
That's how I get taller and leaner? What the fuck?
That's how I get bigger. That's my working out. I grabbed me a 45. And there,
that's my pecs.
See that? It's I keep it right in my bicep.
Look in my boot, you'll find my abs.
Well, this is why when you're 115 pounds and not that strong and maybe don't usually wield a hand cannon, maybe you shouldn't. Because when the gun went off, that's how it was knocked out of his hand. The kick of it going off, basically he dropped it.
He couldn't handle the recoil.
He couldn't handle the recoil. So that's what ended up happening. And then at that point, Keene picked it up, and then they had to, oh, shit, he's got it, and they had to wrestle it away from him.
Okay.
Glass had said that, was it Glass? Yeah, Glass had said that Keene let the shot off. Thompson says he let it off.
Okay.
So I don't know why, but I'll believe the guy who says I fucked up and let it off. It's a more embarrassing story.
Yeah.
So it's probably...
Sucks. Yeah.
It's probably more true.
Yeah.
The worse it is for the person telling it makes me believe it more, usually.
I got humility.
You know how it goes. So apparently, in addition to the gun, this was all going outside. This is the fight they witnessed. In addition to the gun, once that all happened, they got the gun away from Keene. They couldn't, physically wrestle him down. So Glass went and got a big stick and started hitting him with a stick.
Wow.
So he's running around. They're chasing him. He had a gun. He wrestles it. It goes off. It falls on the floor. He picks it up. They wrestle it away from him while one guy beats him with a fucking stick and going, this is for beating on my sister. And some people who just woke up from sleep in their eyes, came home early and went to bed because they were tired from traveling. Like, what the fuck is happening in my front yard? And why is everyone calling me Possum? This is a crazy night.
It's a hell of a hit.
It's a hell of a hit. So, the whole thing's insane. So they have a stick. Now, eventually, Keene's leg will end up broken. Buck's leg will end up broken. Yeah. Thompson thinks that Glass had the stick, but he doesn't think the stick broke his leg. He thinks his leg wasn't broken till later. Mm-hmm. And there's plenty of opportunity for that later because this gets real dark real fucking fast. This goes from a, yakety sax Benny Hill sketch with a grown men hitting each other with sticks, and then he grabs a gun and chases him, and then he takes it and chases him back. Now it goes to they stuff Buck into the trunk of a car.
They take him with him?
They eventually knock him unconscious with a stick. Mm-hmm. That's how they ended up overtaking him.
Wow.
They overtake him, and that's why they were gone by the time the sheriffs got to Possum's house. Okay. Because they stuffed him in a car when they realized Possum was home.
So Possum didn't scare him off as much as Possum just changed their plans and made them take him with him.
Made him go somewhere else, because they were going to do what they were going to do there, but then they decided not to. So they loaded him in the trunk of the car, and they drive under a bridge near the Washita River, which is never good. No. When you if you're in a trunk against your will, and when that trunk pops open, you see a bridge, you're in deep shit. You are in trouble. Just put it that way.
Nothing good happens under bridges near water. Nothing.
Never. It never happens.
No.
You never hear about that's when I found my jump shot right there and just changed my whole life and decided to dedicate my life to sports.
When I
and
found
basketball.
out about foreign investments and CDs.
It was impressive. Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, that's when I had my vision for the stock market takeover. So I was going to just buy everything I can.
Right.
So they break his leg with a stick, or they don't break his leg. Either way, they stuff him into a car, drive him under a bridge, pull him out of the trunk, okay? Now, this point, Bobby Glass will say that he tripped and fell and dropped the gun out of his pocket. Okay. That's his story. He says at that time, Wayne Thompson picked up the gun and shot Buck with the gun.
Oh.
That's Thompson's story, okay? Shot him once that's Glass's story. Shot him once with the gun.
He saw Wayne Thompson. He picked it up, shot him, done.
Yeah. I tripped and fell, and it came out of my pocket all clumsy like. He picked it up and started bucking shots over at Buck. Mm-hmm. So that's the story that he's got. Now, Wayne Thompson says that unknown to his older brother, Tony Mann, Thompson and Glass had put a cement block and a chain in the trunk of the car and got the gun from the kitchen to take with them. So that's Thompson's story. Thompson's story is the gun and the cement block and the chain. That was all me and Bobby, the two youngest members of this crew, and my older brother didn't know anything about it. That's what he says. We hid it from him on purpose.
There's some sinister motherfuckers.
Yeah. Now, Glass, on the other hand, says he ended up with the gun because the older brother man gave it to him to keep away from Wayne.
Right.
So we have two conflicting stories here, definitely. So Glass also says that he saw at that point Tony Mann and Jones remove knives from their pockets and lean over Buck. Okay, so now they got knives out and they're standing over him. He's been shot once. Bobby Glass said he saw Tony Mann cut Buck with his knife. So he says he saw him stab him and cut him. And Mann and Thompson then attached a chain and a concrete block to Buck's body and dragged him into the river. That's Bobby Glass's story there. Now, Wayne Thompson, the 15-year-old, he said that he and Glass intended the whole time to murder Buck and dispose of the body by putting him in the river. That's why they brought a fucking cement block and a chain.
Yeah.
You don't do that for no reason. He also said that Tony Mann tried to stop on the highway to let Buck out at one point, and that he pulled the gun out on Tony and told him where to go. I don't believe this at all. The 15-year-old's telling his 27-year-old brother at gunpoint, no, you're going to drive here. His brother would have smacked him with the back of his fucking hand and said, give me that fucking gun before I fucking beat you with it, you asshole. Get over here.
Yeah.
The hell is wrong with him? I'm taking you home. He's going home. No, I'm dropping him off. We're not stopping at McDonald's like I promised. It's over. He's a teenager. In addition to this, Wayne Thompson here, the 15-year-old, has a little more story of, seems like just trying to get his older brother out of trouble.
Sure.
A lot of this seems like, and later on, that Wayne said, look, I'm 15. I'll just say I did all the bad shit. I'll get off on it easier than you would, especially you, Tony, a 27-year-old with a criminal record. Not going to be good. Me, on the other hand, I'm a kid. What am I going to get, 3 years in juvie and they'll let me, whatever.
Right.
I feel like that's a lot of this shit, a misinformed idea of the legal system by a 15-year-old. So, because Wayne claims that he asked his brother Tony to help with the murder while this was all going on, but that Tony refused, and he wasn't even around when the murder happened. He walked away. He walked down the road because he was so upset with the plan. He was like, I'm not doing this. This is ridiculous. So, yeah, that's his plan. His brother was so taken aback by it that he walked away. So, at this point, this is what Thompson says. Wayne Thompson says that he and Bobby Glass drugged the unconscious Buck out of the trunk down to the river. He says that Buck then woke up and started beating the shit out of Bobby Glass. So he woke up and was like, oh, you again. That's right. I was kicking your ass. This is fucking hilarious.
It's hard to believe any of these stories. They all sound bogus.
They all sound ridiculous, right? They all sound like at the end, Buck should be telling it.
Right.
These four punks, I dumped them all in the river. Right. That's what it seems like is going to be the end of it.
One tried to shoot me. He fired a shot, couldn't even hit me, and the gun fell out of his hand.
Yeah, it's a real hit squad they put up there. Don't have teenagers in your hit squad. Remember that rule? Crime and Sports, we've had a rule for 5 years on that show from an old episode, and it's never have a teenager in your hit squad because they're not good at that shit yet. And it always is going to be a problem. So, and it is. So apparently Buck started beating the shit out of Bobby Glass. Glass was on the ground. This is what, according to Wayne Thompson, Glass was on the ground, and then that is when Thompson shot Buck. He said once Glass was on the ground, he shot Buck, and that then, after he shot him once, then Bobby Glass grabbed the gun away from him and shot Buck again.
Okay.
That's the story that Wayne gives. And then the two of them put the body in the river. But they leave out a lot of it, like the mutilation that occurs.
Yeah, who stabbed how many times?
Well, we'll find out here in a minute when we find him. But so by Wayne's account of the events, the last time his older brother Tony Mann had any contact with Buck was at the house when he was unconscious, at Possum's house. He said he walked away at Possum's house, wanted nothing to do with it, and they all kept driving on and left him behind. Okay. So he said that it's very strange because Buck says other people say that Buck, knowing he was going to be killed, I think Jones says this, Buck said while he was dying, he asked Tony Mann to take care of his children, and said that Mann got his personal shit from him at the request of Buck, his lighter, his pocket knife, and etc., and to give to Vicky.
Okay.
So that was Jones's story. So
give Vicky my lighter.
Give Vicky my Bic. It's got about half fluid full in it. It's not
nice
bad. I had it for like 4 days.
I've been hanging on to it for at least 2 mon's.
It's a bad company logo on it. It's a good one. She's gonna want it.
Company written in a dream catcher.
She gonna want this. So give her that. That's what they're saying here. So who the hell knows what the real course of events are? But it's kind of important to know it when the legalities creep in here. So this is how this works. Now after this has happened, they kill him and dump him off. This is when they leave, and they say also, this is another witness who was there when this foursome left a house. One witness there said, quote, "We're going to kill Charles."
Oh boy.
That's pretty clear. Like, where are you guys going? The store? No, we're going to kill Charles. Oh, all right.
No, we got all we need from the store. We're going to go take Charles's life.
If you could get a 6-pack on the way back, that'd be great. I thought you was heading to the store, so just keep that on your brain. I don't know if you'll have time. When they got back several hours later, they said that Bobby Glass was wet from the chest down, which is a bad sign. His nose was bleeding, and he no longer had the hat that he had been wearing when he left. So he comes in with his hair disheveled, wet from the waist down, with a bloody face. Like, whoa.
James, I got to tell you, there may be a dead man, but it sounds like that guy lost the fight.
He did. That's what I mean. Yeah. Buck lost his life but won the fight somehow. I don't know how. Won the battle but lost the war, I guess. That's the best way to put that. So February 18th, 1983. So he's just gone for nearly a month.
Wow.
No one reports him missing. No one does anything. Vicky doesn't even report him missing, even though by all accounts, when they got home, they were like, "We killed Charles for you."
Yeah.
Like they were like, "Yeah, but we killed Buck for you. Just got that out of the way. Don't have to worry about him no more."
You know, this is a good lesson in just be nice to your lady. 'Cause
don't beat the shit out of your wife or her family or really anybody.
Yeah. Even if she has nothing to do with it, she ain't saying shit.
That's what I mean. She doesn't say a fucking word.
No.
Which is... So when they found Buck, they find he has been quite through the ringer here.
Oh boy.
He's been shot once in the head with said .45.
Yeah.
So that's a good shot. Once in the chest as well. His throat, chest, and abdomen had all been sliced open.
No need.
So, no need. And he also had stab wounds and multiple bruises and abrasions about his face and head, and his left leg was broken.
Okay.
And his body was chained to a concrete block and thrown into the river, obviously. So, it's pretty crazy. The autopsy revealed that the gunshot wounds to the head and chest were the cause of death, but I mean they did cut his throat afterwards. So that
did they say how they found him? Did he was he found first?
Yeah. No, they found though ends up being brought to. The police were brought to him.
Okay,
we'll say that.
All right.
Yeah, nobody found him. A forensic chemist will later say that blood matching Buck's blood type was found in the car used by the men that evening. Mm-hmm. That's a bad thing. And also a shell casing was found at Possum's house.
Okay.
They found a .45 shell casing in the front yard. That's that wayward shot.
That's the one that missed.
The one that missed. More people here. Benny McCarthy, this one guy, he saw Thompson, Glass, and Mann at Dorothy Thompson's house shortly after they came back from the river. Dorothy Thompson is Wayne Thompson's mother. Mm-hmm. So that's how that works. McCarthy says that he heard Mann, Glass, and the mother, Charlesetta Garcia. Oh my God, Charlesetta.
Oh boy.
That's the sister.
Jeez.
So the mother and then the sister, Charlesetta Garcia, they were discussing the murder and the need to conceal or dispose of evidence. So they went home to have a family powwow about it.
Yeah.
We killed Charles. What are we going to do? I don't know. And they sat around and so they probably ordered Domino's. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Wow.
Why? Who brings in their whole family to a murder plot? You go home and tell your mom when you killed somebody?
No.
What the hell is wrong with you? If you kill someone, then go home and tell your mom, you're not old enough to kill someone. Right. Put it that way. You're just not old enough. You shouldn't be doing it yet. You need some more experience there. This is fucking crazy. So they said they needed to return to the river in the daylight to see if the body sank all the way down or if anything's popping up.
Yeah.
And also to get rid of the gun. They had to go down there and toss the gun. I don't know why they didn't do that to begin with, but
I'm stunned.
This isn't the brightest group here, let's just say.
Body, weapons.
Yeah.
Body's gone. Well, that's that. Let's all go home.
They just, all right then.
Done deal.
It's gone home. And then this is all happening on a Sunday morning, by the way. They're discussing how to dispose. It just seems like it's, you know what, let's all have like a cinnamon roll and then we'll talk about it because I don't want to do this. So I don't even like cinnamon rolls, by the way. So anyway, I don't like them. I don't know why. I'm not a big cinnamon guy. So I don't like it.
The rolls,
they're okay, but
James,
they're kind of overly rich.
Grams?
You know me, I like kind of plain dry shit.
I like bland shit too. I'll eat rice and chicken, no seasoning, every day, all day.
Sweets, like I like shortbread cookies and shit like that. I like kind of not. I don't like shit with frosting on it and sprinkles and shit. So I don't know why.
Sweets,
overly
sweet.
sweet.
Put everything together. I'll eat it like that. Rocky Road ice cream, my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, I love Rocky Road ice cream. That's good. I don't want like frosting and like extra shit on it. You will. I know. I've seen your stuff. You look like a 9-year-old girl when you're eating something and see you got
and
rainbows
I don't even like
in it
sweets
and cotton
that much.
candy on
I just
top
like
of it.
specific ones.
Yeah.
Like
no,
a Snickers.
I do too.
Those Snickers with the brownies in them, James, fucking crazy. That was a
Snickers ice.
genius.
Snickers ice cream bars.
Oh, those are great too.
Those are so good. Fuck. Anything ice cream. I'm a fiend for ice cream things. I love it so much.
It's hard not to love that.
Oh, it's so good. So more witnesses here. On a Sunday morning. This is hilarious. One later that Sunday morning, Bobby Glass asked the Benny McCarthy guy to go with him and Vicky to the river.
Okay.
So they told Vicky about it and brought her down to the scene as well to take a look. Take a ride with us. You can see if Buck's floating or not.
Sweet Jesus.
So this is fucking wild there. Two other people, Donetta Bradford, who is one of their girlfriends, and Charlesetta Garcia, who is Wayne Thompson's sister and also Bobby Glass's girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's how Bobby Glass is in the mix here.
That's how he gets chicks.
They said, wow. They said that they were told that Wayne told them that he shot Charles in the head and cut his throat. That's what Wayne said. So Charlotte Mann, who was Tony Mann's ex-wife, heard. Oh, who the fuck, by the way, talks of murder in front of their ex-wife? That's not the person to do this with. Jesus
I wouldn't
Christ.
tell my ex-wife that I had unpaid parking tickets. I wouldn't say shit about shit around that woman.
That's insane. Jesus Christ. So they heard, she heard Tony tell his mother that Buck Keene was dead. They killed him, and that Vicky and Buck's ex-wife, who is Buck's ex-wife, I'm sorry, and also his sister didn't have to worry about him anymore. So Vicky ain't got to worry about him anymore. Nobody does because we killed him.
Yeah.
He tells his ex-wife. He tells his mother this in front of his ex-wife. Crazy shit. So the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, I think it is, analyzed a stain on Possum's front porch carpet and discovered it was caused by Buck's blood.
Okay.
So they found that. Mm-hmm. They found the expended .45 caliber Winchester Western cartridge in Possum's front yard, and so they're kind of putting that all together. Also, in Possum's dog pen, fabric was found that had the same type and design as the hat that was missing from the one murderer there. I believe Bobby Glass had a hat. Apparently, it got thrown into the dog pen,
and the dogs chewed it up.
Or it got in the yard, and then the dogs grabbed it, brought it in the pen with them, and chewed it up. Yeah. So half chewed up evidence, but still. So the police arrest William Wayne Thompson, Tony Mann, Bobby Glass, and Dickie Jones. Arrest them all, okay? This is when shit gets really kind of off the rails here. Okay, now, rather than try them together, they try them all separately, which makes for basically a separate little circus in each one where there's different facts and then different people saying different shit. And it's up to the judge to let in whatever version of events they feel like they want to let in.
Oh, so shit.
It really turns out for bad results here. So Richard Neal Jones, Dickie Jones, his trial, his whole story is, I was passed out through most of this. I don't even know. Apparently we went to get him. I was sleeping the whole time in the front seat. I remember something happened and barely, but I don't know what the fuck happened. I was passed out drunk.
I'm taking Mr. Brown's nickname because I am now the sleepiest man in town. I am
so
awesome.
Sleepy. I am, yeah. I'm not even Possum. That's not even Possum. Possum's the other guy.
Yeah, Possum's when you're pretending.
So I know, that's fucking great. I'm playing Possum's like, hey, that's me, goddamn.
I play Possum so hard, I really fall asleep.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's just a real liar.
He's a bullshit artist.
He's a sandbagger, Possum. That's all it is.
He's just a liar. He never tells anybody the truth, so we call him Possum.
I feel like possums are the most dishonest of the animal kingdom. I don't know why.
I hope that's the reason.
That would be amazing. That would be unbelievable if that was the goddamn reason why.
The best reason to be called Possum.
The only reason. That's the one. So that's his deal.
Yeah.
Now, Wayne Thompson says that Dickie Jones, he testifies that Dickie Jones had been drinking heavily on the night of the killing. He backs that up, both at Tony's house and then later on at the Stork Club. Ooh, the Stork Club.
There you go.
That's some highfalutin shit there.
The Hillbilly Gemini Lounge.
Pretty much what it is. Yeah, that's their little social club.
Yeah.
They chop up bodies in the basement.
Head on over to Stork.
The Stork Club. Classy. So that's Thompson's story, is he was shit-faced the whole time. So the prosecutor now says this. The prosecutor says, quote, this is while he's talking to jurors that are prospective jurors. Quote, you've heard of Vicky Keene, but Charles Keene is the man that was murdered. So the rights of the defendant are important to each citizen in our country like they are to Mr. Jones. This is at Dickie Jones's trial. But do you believe that the rights of a victim they have rights to? Which I don't even know what the fuck that means. So the defense objected objection, Your Honor, nonsense. I don't know what.
Objection, Your Honor, doesn't make any goddamn sense whatsoever he just said.
No idea what he's talking about. Objection overruled, and he continued. So in this case, it's important that the rights of Mr. Jones be protected. But I'm asking that you think each time you hear the and think about the rights of Mr. Jones, you'll also think about the rights of Buck Keene, the man who's been murdered. So he's just trying to do that thing, he's got rights to. So the prosecutor also inquired another prospective juror in the following manner. Do you believe those laws are intended for thee to protect the rights of the victim as well as they're intended to protect the rights of Mr. Jones? And the juror said yes. And he said, but it's a two-sided coin, is it not? And the juror said yes. So apparently this was a big deal later on, as we'll get into here. Now, Thompson, here during this trial, he admitted his own participation in the killing. He also testifies that Dickie Jones was passed out in the car and he didn't do anything. So according to him, Jones had no idea that Keene was going to be killed. He was too drunk to know. And then a witness also from the Stork Club testified that Jones had passed out at the club and had to be carried out to his car. This is just some other guy that was at the club, and it doesn't have anything to do with them.
So
also,
4 guys go to murder a guy, and they bring a fall down, passing out, shit-faced drunk man with them.
Why wouldn't you just leave him where at the we're going to drop off him first? He's not really useful in this whole scenario.
That, man?
So,
is it just a body to take up that extra seat to keep him in the back in the middle? Maybe that's it. Is that what it is?
He couldn't. I'm laughing.
We need another body. Anybody want to go with us? Grab the
he couldn't just climb over him. Open the door, slide his half corpse ass out, and then climb out right after him. How hard is that? All you have is a 115-year-old or 115-pound teenager trying to hold you back.
Yeah,
you could do that. Terrible planning.
I think that's what it was, though. I think it's just another body.
Well, no, he was in the front seat. Though.
Right. That's my point.
Guys.
He's in the front seat so that Buck can't get up there.
Either that or also, maybe it's just like the carpool lane type of thing, just so it looks normal. I don't want no one thinking I'm a goddamn taxi driver.
Right.
Put someone in the front seat.
I don't want this to catch any eyes. 3 people in the back seat, 1 guy driving. That's weird.
That's weird. We'll pull them over and check that out. So, so they're all testifying that he was all passed out, Jones, and everything like that. But also an inmate from the county jail testifies that Glass told him, this inmate, that Dickie Jones had nothing to do with the killing, but that Glass would see that everybody got the death penalty. He told this inmate, well, I'll see that everybody's going down for this. We're all getting the death penalty. That's what he said.
Okay.
I don't know why he would want him and all of his friends to get the death penalty, but he really wants it bad here. He's got a real death wish. So here are some statements that are some of them will be called hearsay, some of them not, but here's some shit that came out at the trial.
Okay.
Testimony from Dorothy Thompson that Wayne Thompson told her that they had, quote, taken care of some business and that Vicky Keene didn't have to bother with Charles no more, quote unquote. Dorothy also testified as to what Bobby Glass told her about chasing Buck Keene down and the fight at Possum Brown's house. Told him the whole deal, blow by blow, and also Charles getting the gun and trying to shoot them. Also Charlotte Mann, who is one of the sisters, or that's the ex-wife of Tony Mann. I'm sorry, this is confusing. She told about the conversation she heard between the mother and Wayne about how the whole killing went down. She also related her conversation with Tony Mann, where Tony told her that Buck was really dead and that Wayne had killed him. That's what he had said. And also she testifies that Tony said that Charles was shot, cut up, and dumped in the river with blocks on his feet, and that both Wayne and Bobby Glass shot him.
Okay.
So there's that. Benny McCarthy, he told about the conversation he had with Tony Mann and Bobby Glass, where Tony and Bobby said they had to go out and check on the body and get rid of the gun. He related the conversation with Bobby Glass in which Bobby said that he shot Keene, Thompson cut him up, and that Tony Mann and Jones and Glass had beaten Keene. Glass also told him that Jones and Mann dragged the body to the river. So Glass is telling everybody that Jones was involved, but everybody else is saying Jones was passed out the whole time.
Yeah.
Except for Glass. Glass keeps saying he was there.
Yeah.
So
Glass wants everybody to fry for this shit.
That's what the guy from the county jail said,
right.
Which, I mean, who the hell knows? We've had a lot of those not be that reliable before. So,
excellent point.
Benny McCarthy also testified that Tony Mann told him that the gun they were trying to sell was the one that they shot him with. So at one point he was trying to sell it. Then they decided, no, we should dump it in the river, since we killed a guy with it and all.
Right, because it's got a body count and all.
They're going to trace that back. Testimony also by Vicky, the wife, that Tony Mann told her that Charles was dead and that she didn't have to worry anymore. He also told her that Keene's last words were to take care of his children. Vicky also testifies that Tony and Bobby went back to the river to check on the body and to, quote, put the gate back up. Mm-hmm. This is probably one of those gates that they have at the. So that works. So anyway, they find him guilty. This is Jones. They find him guilty here, Dickie Jones, of murder in the first degree. And sentencing comes around, and the death penalty is on the table for all 4 of these guys, by the way,
God.
Including the 15-year-old.
Really?
They're going to push that. And he's testifying against everybody and himself, mostly just incriminating himself. Mm-hmm. And they're still pushing for the death penalty. So here, though, with him, this is the guy that most everyone said was passed out. Only Dickie Glass puts him in. They say, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for Jones.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, only one witness, and that witness's testimony is also clouded by someone saying that he said he was going to try to get everyone the death penalty. So
let that be a lesson to you. Never get too drunk in public that you need a ride home.
Never pass out in a bar.
Out drunk.
Bad things are going to happen. So
now I understand people that like Johnny Damon getting arrested for drunk driving. Now I get it. He just didn't want to get arrested and thrown into some murder plot.
That or beaten and stuffed in a trunk and tied to a cement block and dumped in a river. Either one. Yeah. These things can happen. Stay in your own car, everybody.
Jesus Christ.
Sleep it off in the back seat if you have to. I don't know. I don't know if that's legal or what, but check your own state. Check your own local municipality for that. I don't know.
Get shit housed at home.
There you go. So Bobby Glass's trial comes up, and it's, he had now already admitted to his part in the murder. Wayne Thompson comes up and says his part, too. So basically, the general story is Wayne and Bobby were the main killers here. And even Wayne and Bobby were the two people who shot him. Okay. So Bobby Glass is found guilty as well, and they go to sentencing for him. He tries to get a little leniency because he testified against Jones. That's how he's trying to get off. But they say, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you, too.
Oh, God. It's not looking good.
So Bobby gets the death penalty, too. Now, This happens in late 1983. He gets the death penalty. He's immediately put on death row. Yeah. That's what they do. And now they set the execution date for like 2 months from the trial.
Sure.
From the sentencing, and then you go from the appeals process. It's such a fucking waste of everybody's time and money to say, well, we'll set the date for then, even though we know that's not when it's going to fucking happen. Yeah. But we'll go through all the expense of doing all this shit and everybody file papers, and then we all have to it's the stupidest thing ever. It's so dumb the way they do that. So they do that. They put him on death row. In February of 1984, he's been on death row for like a month now, Bobby Glass. Right. The inmates on death row are being taken outside from their cells for exercise. Okay. This was on a Sunday. They don't know what happened, but there's a fight apparently between two of the inmates. And they say they don't know if these people, if they attacked each other or one person was the aggressor. They can't tell. They said, this is the prison warden, quote, "We're not certain at this point what happened. The other inmates aren't saying much," as inmates are
surprised.
They're not that valuable when it comes to this is what happened during the stabbing usually. Right. So what ends up happening is Bobby Glass, who's 19 at the time, is stabbed to death in a death row shanking.
How many people have been killed on death row?
It's supposed to be like the most secure place there is besides the hole. I mean, but
you're on death row. You're not around fucking anybody.
You know who you are around? Other death row inmates.
Yeah, other people.
Other murderers.
Do some murdering.
Some of whom might be pissed at you. Right. By the way, as we'll get into here, he was stabbed in the chest multiple times and killed. Yeah. Chest, arms, and throat. I'm sorry. Oh. So it's a prison shanking. Right. They just shanked.
Just wild stabbing. Yeah.
Wild stabbing. The person who did the stabbing, Richard Jones. Dickie Jones stabbed him to death.
Dickie got him.
Oh, yeah.
Dickie earned death row now.
So Dickie, if he was sleeping through the first one, he wasn't sleeping through this one. He was also, had a couple of minor wounds as well, but he's fine. They had been on death row for less than 5 weeks together.
Holy shit. Why would you, as a warden, how could you say, yeah, those two guys, put them together?
No shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Glass had been there for 5 weeks. The other one who did the stabbing, Dickie Jones, had just gotten there a week and a half earlier.
Oh, so wow. That's fast acquisition of a shank.
That's what I mean. You just got there and you were already putting it together and putting it. You were like, you got there. You're like, all right, first thing is stab and kill that motherfucker. Okay.
First things first, fuck my bedroll. Where's a knife?
Yeah. Then we'll figure out how to get crossword puzzles after that. Okay. Then Sudoku. All right. Excellent. So Jones doesn't deny that he stabbed Glass at all. Yeah. He goes, I fucking stabbed the shit out of him. He says it was self-defense, though. He came at me. I stabbed the shit out of him. That's how it worked. I got the weapon away from him and stabbed him, and no charges are filed against Jones. None. They can't get any witnesses to say anything, so all they have is his word of going, he's a murderer. He came at me with a goddamn knife. I got it away from him, shanked him up good. I'm barely lucky I got away with my life.
Self-defense. He's in here for murder. Guess what I'm in here for? Same thing. I can do it too.
How wild is that shit, man? So William Thompson here, Wayne Thompson, they want to try him as an adult. Even though he was 15 years old. They want to try him as an adult. Now, under Oklahoma law, childhood murderers can be tried and punished as long as this is the standard, okay? You would think it would be like an age minimum. Pretty much. This is it. Quote, that they knew what they were doing.
Wow.
That's all.
That's
that
the
they
law.
That they knew what they were doing. That's so basically a 4-year-old. You remember when you had kids that were 4?
Yeah.
They did shit bad that they knew exactly what they were doing.
Of course.
So if something they did illegal, they should be put in adult prison now. Not child prison, adult prison. He knew what he was doing, Jimmy.
Yeah.
He knew it. It was obvious.
And tried as an adult up for death row.
Yeah, it's not even that they knew what they were doing and can comprehend the consequences of such. That would be a different standard. This is just knew what they were doing.
Unbelievable.
Knew what they were doing was wrong. That's all you need to know, which is pretty wild. Now, Thompson, who is 15, they're going to put his also criminal record into this. At 15, he's already got a record. He was arrested 4 times for assault and battery in his young life, and once for attempted burglary as well. You know, it's not great. No. So he's had a little bit of a record. Mary Robinson, who's a worker with the juvenile justice system, said, that's hard to say, juvenile justice system, said that the counseling and discipline for these arrests did not work or improve his behavior. Okay. Nothing worked on him. So this is how they're trying to decide whether he should be tried as an adult or not. The trial court now decides that Thompson knew the severity of the crimes he repeatedly committed and showed little to no improvement in the juvenile justice system. So the court believed that there would be no improvement in Thompson's behavior by crime, even with tough discipline. Therefore, he will be tried as an adult.
Holy shit.
He wasn't mature enough to take the discipline well. Therefore, he's an adult. That's what they said, which is kind of staggering. So the evidence at the trial shows that he personally kicked Buck in the head, shot him in the head, slit his throat, and helped drag his body weighted down with concrete and chains that he decided to bring to the river. Doesn't look good. No. One question that was improper, apparently, the prosecutor asked a defense witness whether he was related to a man named Cecil Leroy Cloud. When the guy said that Mr. Cloud was his father's stepbrother, the prosecutor said, "That's the same Cecil Leroy Cloud that we sent to the pen for shooting with intent to kill, correct?"
What's that have anything to do with this?
That's what they said. It had nothing to do with shit. Who cares? So, but it was a stupid thing. There was an objection. They said it was a cheap shot, blah, blah, blah. And they said, no, it's fine. It goes. Also, there's objections to just his age. They said the prosecutor consistently seeks to characterize him as being emotionally older than his chronological age. That's what the defense says. He says that the defense says they stressed the defense counsel keeps stressing his age as a mitigating factor, arguing that he shouldn't be given the death penalty because he's young enough to change and improve himself. 15 is really young.
It is.
Can you even remember your 15-year-old brain?
I can remember the Converse
clearly
that I wore to school, and that's all I remember.
That's what I mean. Imagine if you were sitting in prison right now for something that you don't even remember why you did it or how because you were 15.
Right.
That's so young. It's like, I don't know. Jesus Christ. I don't know what the hell I was after there. Like 15 is young. Even if you do something really, really, really fucking horrific, there's very few 15-year-olds that are like
worth a fuck
adults.
At anything. Right.
Yeah. Would you hire the 15-year-olds you maybe hire to like cut your grass or something, but you wouldn't give them any other more complicated job because they're 15.
Right.
So murder was,
because 15 is so young, you're not even legally allowed to employ them to do anything. Like
that's what I mean. It's
16,
that young.
It's even like, I don't even want this person here. You know what I mean? But they legally were allowed to hire him.
At that age, you're allowed to make no decisions for yourself. Like, so on purpose, because you're not, your brain isn't developed enough to do that. That's the whole point.
Right.
The defense counsel also stressed that he called him, quote, a normal little boy, just like other little boys, which sounds creepy.
Little boy is the key words there.
Sounds like he wants to touch his butthole at that point, though, when he calls him that.
Hot little boy like all the other hot little boys.
He's just sexy. He's just, you know what I mean? Just like
fucking hot.
Something about it, you just want to, you know what I'm talking about, right? Right? Oh, shit. So Jesus Christ. So they find him guilty because he comes out and says how guilty he is. He said he did everything. He's covering for his brother. He's covering for everybody. So what they do is, for sentencing, they bring in a Dr. Helen Klein, who's a clinical psychologist and probably a cynical psychologist as well for being what she does, and director of the psychology department at Central State Hospital. She would testify that the sentence at the sentencing stage of the trial, her testimony is used solely to prove the existence of a probability that Thompson would commit criminal acts of violence that would constitute a continuing threat to society if let out. So she's going to predict the future.
Her job is not a psychologist. It's a fucking psychic. What are we doing here?
Exactly. Her job is to sit in front of a crystal ball and say the outcome of a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Which is insane, because like I said, I know people, myself personally, and a shitload of others, that where they were at 15 is just a vast difference from where they are
today.
Totally, they're because when you're 15, a lot of your shit is reactionary to your circumstances that you don't control because you're 15. Right. You don't control your home life when you're 15. Yeah. You can't get a job and get your own fucking place, and you don't have control of that.
Given opportunities, my decisions will change. Therefore, I will be a better person, probably.
Exactly. You're the 15-year-old. A 15-year-old's like a dog.
Yeah.
Like the dog is a reflection of the environment, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it works. So
it's also a 15-year-old will do things to piss off authority because of the environment. They will go against a happy living arrangement just to have some fucking difference, because I don't want perfect shit all the goddamn time. Let's have some strife around here. Mom, you're a cunt.
Yes. See, there you go. Now I feel better about myself. Right. Fuck. So, yeah, put on Bad Company, goddammit. I'm just angry. I'm going to go in my room and play an album. So they say during the court hearing here, the victim herein was abducted from his home, severely beaten by 4 men, shot twice, and had his leg broken, throat and chest slashed with a knife when he attempted to escape and had a chance to call out for help. He was thrown into the trunk of a car. These facts amply support the conclusion that the murder was heinous, atrocious, and or cruel. You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for the 15-year-old.
Wow. The leap from all of those things that are so heinous and cruel, a tiny 15-year-old did all of that to a man way bigger than him.
So they're like, so kill a 15-year-old. What?
I mean, we're killing a man that took a nap. Let's kill everybody. Fuck it.
What happened was atrocious, so kill a child. That's the thing to make up for.
We'll fix this.
We'll fix this. You want to talk justice? I'll show you justice, goddammit. Let's kill a sophomore. What do you say? Well, good news, bad news. Good news is you don't have math third period anymore, so that's great. That's terrific.
Bad news is we just went back in time and we are going to sacrifice you to Zeus.
No shit. At what point in time did we kill 15-year-olds? I don't think that.
I mean, the only time it was done was virgin 15-year-olds because we wanted rain. You know what I mean?
No shit. Like when we did the Old West murders on the Patreon episode, there was a couple that were like, a 15 or 14-year-old did some shit and they were like, he's a kid. We gave him back to his parents. That was the end of the story. Like, oh well.
Sheriff, he was an adult. We sent him on his way.
That's all. Gave him a good paddling. So
he's going to come back to the sheriff's house and sweep his porch next week, though. I'll tell you that much.
He's going to do it. And a written apology. Written. Good penmanship, too. I don't want no bullshit out of you.
Constable's shoes.
Oh, boy. So the Tony Mann trial is last here. And apparently the big deal here is the admission of a color videotape recording. They basically recorded Buck's body being recovered from the river on videotape. And as you can imagine, a brutally shot and stabbed, cut up body that's been submerged in a slimy river for a month.
And chained to an anchor or chained to a concrete.
Looks terrible coming out of the water. There's algae on it and shit like that. It's bad stuff. So there was an objection made at trial that this was more prejudicial than probative. Also, there's the introduction of a bunch of color photographs. And the color photographs are introduced in all the cases, basically, and they're autopsy photographs or a crime scene. They're graphic.
They're not easy to look at.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could kill someone less graphically if you don't want that shown at your trial.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Do something that doesn't look as bad.
Right. Also,
make it so they're smiling in those pictures.
Yeah, but a wound looks worse in 3 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially if the person dies, because then they decay and that wound opens much bigger.
But yeah, especially in the water when it blows up.
Right.
It's going to blow up around it and stretch it. The pictures show the mud, blood, and slime from the river, the slit in the victim's throat, and the entry wounds of the bullets in the chest and head. However, they said that it was not, anything. I don't know how you could consider. I'm sorry, pictures are pictures. Yeah. That's it. Unless the pictures are staged in a way to make it worse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like a guy putting his foot in the chest wound to show you how big it is or something. That would be egregious probably. But outside of that, also the prosecutor describes man as a, quote, corpse robber.
What?
Jesus Christ.
What does that mean?
Which a reference to Tony's removal of the knife and lighter to give to Vicky.
Oh, got it.
So the defense called it, the judge called it a, quote, poor although accurate choice of words at the time.
Yeah.
During the objection, they said, well, it's a poor although accurate.
Corpse robbing shit, but.
I mean, it sounds bad. Sounds worse than it is.
Yeah.
So also the they objected to the failure of the court to instruct the jury on first-degree manslaughter and second-degree murder as well as first-degree murder. The contention is based on the claim that there was substantial evidence that he was incapable of forming a specific intent to meet the murder criteria because he was drunk, they were saying, because he had been drinking all night too. Yeah. Now, Wayne Thompson's testimony is the only evidence offered to prove that this guy was drunk that night, and he didn't estimate the volume of anything. He just said that he thought he was drunk. That's all he said. So that's what he's trying to get off on. The evidence shows that man drove the car that evening around Chickasha and to and from everywhere, a distance of 12 miles, and to 2 different locations on the Washita River without any difficulty. So how drunk could you be is if after you were drinking all that booze, you were driving around for an hour, fine, and then you went to kill someone and now you don't know what the fuck you're doing? Like, according to Wayne, man said to him in glass, quote, you all know it's murder. So they were saying that he obviously knew he was murdering someone. So they were saying taking his testimony as accurate, man couldn't have been too drunk to know it was taking place. Now, another leg of man's defense, and this is a weird one, is that his sister Vicky should also be charged. What about Vicky?
He wants her.
She gets away scot-free. Vicky, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
He says that the court erred in not treating Vicky as an accomplice for procedural purposes. Vicky was the former wife of the victim and this guy and the accused sister. The evidence shows that the beating of her is what caused the whole thing. I don't know why that would make her an accomplice.
Right.
Jesus Christ. But there's no evidence to establish her as an accomplice other than she knew that he was killed and didn't tell anybody about it. Mm-hmm. So after the fact, I could see her as like a after the fact co-conspirator. Sure. They do that all the fucking time. But they don't do it with her. Maybe because she's got 2 little kids and got beat on for years. So they were like, meh, Well, let's not.
Very progressive of you, Oklahoma.
Yeah, right. Also claims a evidentiary harpoon is what he calls it. What the legal term is.
What does that mean?
Okay. He claims he was the victim of an evidentiary harpoon and that the court overruled his objection to the offending testimony. The witness was one of the police officers who transported man from Eufaula, where he was arrested, back to Chickasha. Man asked if they had made an arrest in a different case that has nothing to do with this, completely different case. And man commented that, quote, pretty bad them cutting her up like that. So he was talking about some girl who got killed somewhere else. And he was asking about that. Hey, did you guys ever catch the guy who did that? So the deputy replied, quote, you don't have much room to talk. Like he was saying, your guy's pretty fucked up too.
Yeah.
And man said, quote, I know, but it wasn't supposed to happen that way. And the prosecutor offered this as an admission of guilt by man, but he was not like under any kind of, we didn't read him his rights or anything like that. He was just sitting in the back of the police car. So they claim that the jury thought that he was involved in another crime or in a similar crime, and that he was admitting he was guilty to that based on the testimony. He said it confused the jurors that they thought that he killed some girl somewhere also, basically. So he calls that an evidentiary harpoon. And the court says, no, you're good. Now, the sentencing here, there's a closing argument in the sentencing, and the court... this is what the court will say later. The prosecutors came very close to causing an abortion of an otherwise fair trial with their insistence in ignoring the standards for what is proper closing argument.
What is with the verbiage that this fucking...
Nasty.
Yeah.
Pronounce it, motherfuckers. That's what we're talking about. He says that I believe the actions and comments of prosecutors Larry Barisell and Tony Burns during second stage closing arguments did not merely come close, but did deprive Tony Mann of a fair trial during the second stage. Prosecutor dry-fired the murder weapon and commented, quote, "That's the last sound Charles Keene hears." So he says that. The comment was clearly improper, unprofessional, designed solely for its unfair, prejudicial impact on the jury, and cannot be tolerated. Wow, this is what the appeals court will later say. Prosecutor Burns requested sympathy for the victim on several occasions, made comments relating to societal alarm, saying, like, if you let this guy go, society's falling apart, and stated that Tony had fabricated a defense through his little brother. So, but that I think might be true.
Maybe.
Seems like Wayne has taken the brunt of this. You know what I mean? Because he thought he would get off, like we were saying here. The facts of the case demonstrate that Keene was undoubtedly subjected to extreme physical abuse, resulting in a great deal of pain and fright for an extended period of time before the fatal wounds were inflicted, including being locked in a trunk car and being beaten. There was testimony that Tony Mann... that Keene knew when he was at Brown's house that he would be killed because he said they're trying to kill me. This was illustrated by his plea for help from the Browns, as well as his deathbed request to take care of his boys and raise them right, because that's what he said. Basically like the beginning of Deadwood when Bullock is hanging that guy and he tells him to tell his sister to raise his boys right. Yeah. It's the same exact thing. Apparently in Oklahoma, when you're murdered, you have to say, raise them right. So it has to be your last words. So... through all of this, they decide, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you, too.
Oh, my God.
Everybody. 4 for 4. 4 of a kind.
Jesus.
4 for 4. 4 aces here, everybody. So the death for Mann originally set for June 1984, like 3 months after the fucking... the verdict here. So it's originally delayed. There's a stay granted to do an appeal and all of that. So Wayne Thompson being 15, his appeal goes all the way to the Supreme Court, like the United States Supreme Court. It's a major landmark decision, his case, actually. It's a big deal. Like it has its own Wikipedia page, just the decision itself.
Really?
So, yeah, the nothing about the case, but just the decision. Right. So they said that he was 15, and they decided that it would constitute cruel and or unusual punishment under the 8th and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution and under Article 2, Section 9 of the Oklahoma Constitution as well. Fucked it up on both sides. The current statute is, this court unanimously rejecting the arguments found that imposition of the death penalty on a minor certified to stand trial as an adult constitutes neither cruel or unusual punishment. That's the statute in Oklahoma. So the shrink here, we have some psychological thing here. He says that Thompson says that the 5th and 6th Amendment rights were violated because he was not warned of his right to remain silent during those 2 interviews with the psychiatrist that said he was fine to die. Basically, he says that anything could be used against him. The original record was silent in it, and then he filed for an affidavit on the whole thing, and it stated that he was not so warned. So there's a problem there. The Supreme Court has also held that a criminal defendant who neither initiates a psychiatric evaluation nor attempts to introduce any psychiatric evidence may be compelled to respond to a psychiatrist if his statements can be used against him in a sentencing hearing. So you don't have to unless you requested it, basically. So they said that when the defendant is faced while in custody with court-ordered psychiatric inquiry, the state may use his statements at the penalty phase only if the defendant is apprised of his rights and knowingly decided to waive them. So at that point, they're an agent of the state. It's the same thing as if a detective or the prosecutor came in and talked to him. You can't just use that person as a Trojan horse to get your information. That's not okay, especially under the guise of a doctor, which makes it fucking worse. So unless they know it, of course.
Predicting your behavior for the future.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Way in the future. Not even like he could do 20 years and then maybe we could rehabilitate him. Not even that. Just, I feel like in 40 years he'll still be an asshole. Like, wow, really? Okay. So the court, one justice did not participate. In a 5-3 ruling, the court rules in favor of Wayne Thompson, holding that his execution would violate the 8th Amendment to the United States Constitution as applied to the states through the 14th Amendment. The opinion by Justice Stevens, he said, that he noted the, quote, evolving standards of decency that mark the progress of a maturing society. He gave the I'll give you his statement, and I'll give you Scalia's statement the opposite way.
I want to know.
I don't get why we can't kill children.
I want to know the 3 dickheads that were okay with murdering a 15-year-old. Scalia.
You know who they are.
Do I?
You could just look and you'll know off the top of your head who they are.
Scalia, Thomas, and who?
Well, Thomas wasn't in yet. This was in 88.
This is in the 80s, yeah.
This is in the 80s, so I'll get to it, though. Let's see here. William Wayne Thompson here, he says that he slept a little more soundly knowing that he wasn't going to be executed after this. He said that, quote, I'm glad it's over during an interview. Well, no shit. He said that he was worried about never seeing the outside of prison walls again. Now they say, because he's going to be resentenced, with good behavior and a decent sentence and a timely parole, he might be out in 10 years. Depending on what he gets sentenced to.
Really?
You never know. So then he would be like 30. So the high courts ordered the state to resentence him, and they expect the criminal appeals, Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals, to commute the death sentence to life imprisonment. In Oklahoma, a life sentence equals 45 years in prison. He's already served 5, and then you figure with time served, that's probably more realistic. They said, what are you going to do if you do get out? And he said, quote, I'd like to get my GED, which is general equivalency. It's a high school diploma if you don't graduate high school, if you're not from the U.S. Then get into welding, auto mechanics, or auto body repair.
Okay.
He's got achievable goals. That's good. You could go to a school and you can get a certificate for that, and you can do it. His plans, though, are to definitely leave Oklahoma if he gets paroled.
Oh, dear Jesus.
He said, quote, I'll go out to California where 2 sisters and a brother are living. Perfect.
Not San Diego or L.A. This boy's moving to Bakersfield.
Yeah. So they talk about moving him off death row. Yeah. They said that depending on his behavior, we'll ease him into the general population soon, basically. We'll get him off death row in a minute here. He offered, this is Thompson, Wayne Thompson, offered some words of advice for youngsters contemplating committing crimes in the newspaper. Quote, for teenagers under 16, the Supreme Court said they could not be sentenced to die, but they will be put in prison if they commit a crime. I know it's like beating my head against the wall by saying this, but they should keep that very, very much in mind. Kids, that they can go to prison. Mm-hmm. So the ruling here expands on another ruling. They said that they would hear more arguments now on this to kind of try to get a standard of how young you can execute people, basically. What constitutes cruel and unusual punishment and all that sort of thing, which is fucking wild. The Oklahoma Assistant Attorney General said, we anticipated they would do this. It just happened to be a case out of Oklahoma that made them do that. And they said the judge certified him to stand as an adult. We feel like the decisions of the jury should be upheld. That's obviously his opinion. Yeah. Now, Justice John Paul Stevens writes the majority opinion, quote, we are not persuaded that the imposition of the death penalty for offenses committed by persons under 16 years of age has made or can be expected to make any measurable contribution to the goal that capital punishment is intended to achieve. So we're just kicking our own asses by killing kids, basically. Yeah. Now, Scalia has another opinion. He says, William Wayne Thompson is not a juvenile caught up in a legislative scheme that unthinkingly lumped him together with adults for purposes of determining that death was an appropriate penalty for him and for his crime. There is no rational basis for discerning in a societal judgment that no one so much as a day under 16 can ever be mature and morally responsible enough to deserve that penalty.
Really?
Yes. If everybody was a robot, great. But the fact that you end up with 15-year-olds that aren't fucking tried the right way and aren't mature enough. Yes, if you could put everybody under a machine and go, actually, his real age, his brain age is 22.6, so he knew what he was doing. But this guy, that would be a different story.
Yeah.
But this is, opening it up to way too much interpretation, and people are stupid, so you can't do that.
I'm glad that dinosaur's dead.
Yeah, we hate to say we're glad people are dead, but he was a nasty, mean motherfucker.
A fucking angry old man.
He was very, very angry and hated everybody. Yeah, I agree with that. So, and that's not political. That's just the guy was a dick. So,
objectively true.
Yeah. So Tony Mann appeals. He appeals on that Benny McCarthy testimony, all this overhearing shit all over the house as hearsay testimony, basically his thing. They affirm the judgment against him, against Tony Mann, but there is dissent. They said, unfortunately, the appellant's right to a fair trial was the victim of an overzealous prosecutor. The record is replete with error committed both during the stages of the trial, when it's considered in a cumulative fashion, necessitates that the conviction be reversed and remanded for a new trial. But it's not, so there's that. Richard Neal Jones, Dickie Jones appeals. Remember, he's got two bodies on him now.
Well, a nap in a body.
A nap in a body. Or he was participating in it like other people said, and Wayne Thompson was the only one who said he was passed out the whole time, but he took it off of everybody except for Bobby Glass. Right. So we don't know. He says that that the trial court erred in permitting the admission of hearsay statements, basically the same thing the last guy appealed on. And here they said that the statements were not properly admissible in his appeal. Same exact statements from the same exact people, mind you, are not admissible here, but were admissible against Mann. Mm-hmm. So it's fucking interesting here. They said that the statement is not hearsay if the statement is offered against a party and is a statement by a co-conspirator of a party during the course and in the furtherance of a conspiracy. They said it's essential foundational requirement that the statement be made during the course of a conspiracy. They said this wasn't. He just overheard it later on. He said, in the context of a murder case accomplished by two or more co-defendants, this court held that the statements relating to the conversation between the two alleged conspirators days after the murder were not admissible because that wasn't during the course of the thing. Right. So that guy hearing it was, it's out. So also he appeals on the account of the overly graphic pictures as well. They said that that was a big deal. The two photographs are the same ones the other guy does, objects about. They're ones covered where the body's covered in algae and slime, a factor which, quote, led to its gruesomeness and lessened its probative values as the algae partially covered the wounds.
Do we need the United States Motion Picture Association to rate the pictures before we put them in?
We kind of do.
We got to keep it at PG-13 at best.
We got to go PG-13. Yeah. And the other one was the ones with algae on it, they covered the wounds. So they just showed them because they looked extra bad. Right. It doesn't even help. It doesn't even show the wounds. So finally, they also allege prosecutorial misconduct. And the court says, we agree with the appellant's assertion that the prosecutorial conduct in this case supplies another basis for a decision to remand for a new trial. They says the misconduct was, one, the prosecutor repeatedly requested sympathy for the victim during the voir dire. This is the same one that got rejected for the other guy. It's all the same shit. Engaged in an improper prejudicial closing argument. All this shit. The prosecutor began asking the jury to have sympathy for the victim, which I think every prosecutor does that, don't they?
Kind of the angle of justice.
Their whole thing there. So otherwise they'd be like, fuck that guy, but you know what we're saying, right?
Listen, everybody deserves some sort of punishment, but we think he just got a little too carried away with this one. Yeah, he's a dick, but does he deserve to die?
Yeah. Well, this one, they said there was that. They tried to inflame the passions of the jury. And they also said that the comments during closing arguments that it was the job of the defense attorney to, quote, get the clients off. So they were saying that implies that they're saying they can do illegal things and untoward things to get them off rather than just it's a job. So they said They said it was a gross misstatement of the role to be fulfilled by the defense counsel. The basic duty of the lawyer for the accused owes to the administration of justice and is to serve the accused counselor as the accused counselor and advocate with courage, devotion, and the utmost of his or her learning and ability according to the law.
And defend the rights of the accused. That's their fucking job. It's a brutal job. It's an awful job. But you can't boil it down
necessary.
to you're freeing murderers. That's not cool.
No. It's super necessary. So they also said it's unprofessional conduct for a lawyer intentionally to misrepresent matters of fact to a law of the court. So the verdict here is reversed.
Really?
New trial for Dickie Jones.
Whole new trial.
Whole new trial, not just the sentence. Whole thing is reversed. New trial. 1988, he gets a retrial. Basically, after that appeal, no evidence is allowed in, basically. The only evidence that is allowed in is Wayne Thompson's testimony, and his testimony is he was asleep the whole time.
I did it. He was asleep.
I did everything. He was asleep the whole time. So now the whole thing, the prosecutors are trying to get, basically they're trying to get it in that he killed his main witness against him. Right. They're like, he stabbed to death the main fucking witness against him.
You can't say that either. We don't have proof of that.
That was the thing, so they couldn't even introduce that. So they were like, shit, what do we do here? So
this is what happens when you run down and sully the reputation of a defense attorney. Now you got the fucking hard part.
Now you're stuck with this shit. So they said, although one prosecution witness testified that Dickie Jones admitted during a conversation in jail that he helped Keene. Mm-hmm. He helped kill Keene. That's the only thing they have against him. Everything else is nothing. So, not guilty is the verdict.
And he got to murder somebody.
Walks. He got to murder 2 people, for fuck's sake. Allegedly 1, and then definitely 2. Yeah. So, out of everybody...
Definitely 2.
Definitely 1 and possibly 2.
Yeah.
So... that's crazy. And he's the guy who gets let out not guilty.
Unbelievable.
He is free to go after the decision. They just open the doors and let him out.
Wow.
They said that his lawyer said that, quote, he just cried. He wasn't able to say anything for quite some time. He underwent a religious conversion down there and attributed the verdict to God's will.
Oh, you
Jesus
Dickie.
Christ. Oh, Dickie balls. So, 1994 comes around, and Tony Mann loses another appeal here. 1995, he has another appeal, and this is one, he has a totally new angle now. Yeah. This is for a conflict of interest with his attorney, okay? Check this out. Mann's attorneys, Red Ivy, one of his attorneys' names is Red Ivy, Jimmy. Could you hire a person named Red Ivy to represent you in a fucking death penalty trial?
No thanks.
Jesus. And Stephen Buzin? B-U-Z-I-N. I'm going to call it Buzzin' because he didn't do his job very well. So.
I like boozing because maybe he was
boozing.
Too busy.
Steven's boozing. He's boozing that Red Ivy.
Yeah.
So they had a conflict of interest in representing Mann at trial because they both represented another Keene murder defendant, Dickie Jones, in an earlier trial. You can't do that. No. Part of Jones's defense was to insinuate that Mann and William Wayne Thompson were more culpable and had more motive for committing the crime. So they were...
When this trial's over, we'll see y'all tomorrow while we represent that guy that's more culpable.
Dude, yeah, it's like, think about this. They have like a pile of resources of like evidence and stuff, and then they can dole it out to which case they can... What the fuck is that?
That's awful.
So they said... After Jones was convicted in January 84, Ivy and Boozin went on to represent Mann in March of 84. The court finds that the multiple representation of Mann and Jones placed Ivy and Boozin in an ethically impossible situation with the actual adverse consequences for Mann. One consequence arose when the attorneys weighed the option of having Jones testify in Mann's trial. Because that really fucks everything. They needed him for that, but then it fucks him, so... What do? They decided against it because Jones's testimony could be turned against himself in his appeal.
Right.
So they protected one client at the expense of another, which is tough. Part of Mann's defense was an attempt to show that he did not premeditate killing Keene, and he opposed the slaying of him during the abduction. Jones's testimony would have bolstered the defense theory of his non-culpability because he said he walked away. But they wouldn't let him testify because it would hurt him. Because they wanted him to be culpable, too. The whole thing's a fucking mess, man. So they said, out of all this, he must receive a new trial. New trial for Mann as well here. They said, we really feel like Mr. Mann's involvement, it was greatly less than others, and we feel that the death sentence was unwarranted and the conviction was unwarranted.
Okay.
So this is why the death penalty sucks. Yeah. Hear me out, everybody, even if you love it. Not because killing complete assholes is necessarily a terrible thing. The problem is we just can't do it fairly enough because people in general suck at their jobs. Yeah. That's why. Period. Not all of them, but enough of them to make it a thing. I was reading this book, and it's H. John Benjamin, who's like Archer and fucking all that, and Bob's Burgers. And he was talking, the book is called, what is it? Failure. God damn it. I've read it 20 fucking times, and I can't remember the name of it now. The Failure is an Option, it's called. It's all about his failures in life. And he talks about how in every situation, every profession out there, maybe 10% of people are actually good at their jobs. He went through like, this is how many carpenters there are. That many people will fuck up your shit if you hire them. Like, it's just the way it is. Most people suck at what they do. So I don't know how we can expect the entire judicial system to break that rule of human law. Just doesn't fucking work.
That's why reviews are a thing.
Exactly. So Mann ended up being convicted again. And this time, you, sir, may fuck off. He's sentenced to life without parole this time. So now he's in forever.
But he's off
2000. He's off death row, though. 2003 comes around. Wayne Thompson's up for parole. Yeah. The kid who was 15 at the time. Now he's like 35. The parole and the Pardon and Parole Board recommends him for parole, and he is sent to a prison work program that gives him greater freedom. But the governor, Brad Henry, ends up declining to sign off on the release, and they send him back to jail. Oh. He says, nope, and goes back.
What?
The kid gets like, fuck.
What the fuck?
The University of Oklahoma law professor who argued Thompson's case before the Supreme Court said he never completely understood the reason behind the rejection. He says Wayne falls into this abyss of people who are not sentenced to life without parole, but who are not given a decent hearing. So basically what they do is they sentence you to life with parole, but then they just never give you parole. So it's just de facto life without parole, they call it. There's been a big kerfluffle over it here. So over the years, he earned his GED. He also got an associate's degree, took computer classes, and became the administrator for his prison 12-step program. So he's done everything they've asked him to do.
And he's
everything they've asked, and he's still fucking there even
jumped through the hoops to get recommended for it, and then some dick that knows nothing about this says, no.
Nope, don't think so. So 2016 here, after what they call years of exemplary conduct, as we explained, Thompson does get into trouble. He gets into trouble for drug possession in prison. Oh, no. Nothing violent. But that completely fucks his chances for parole now, because now he can't even say he's perfect. Right. Prison guards caught him with a half ounce of weed.
Half ounce?
And a half ounce of half ounce of weed and an ounce and a half of methamphetamine.
Whoa.
He's the
drug dealer
jail
in prison.
Kingpin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his lawyer said besides the drugs, he's basically followed the rules. His friends say, and his family, his mom specifically, said that he was trying to sell the drugs in order to make money to support himself in prison, which that makes sense. That's why people do that. Prisoners often depend on family, and apparently nobody was sending him money, so he doesn't get, you need like toiletries, phone calls, food that's not shit, that sort of thing. You need money for that shit. And it's tough for him. Once a year, his siblings buy him shoes and clothes, and they said, quote, he doesn't even like us to do that. He doesn't want to be a burden to the family. That's what his sister Cindy said. In 2018, he's up for parole again, and the Pardon and Parole Board denies his parole again. An investigator for the board recommended in a report that Thompson be rejected, quote, not because of the drugs, quote, due to the nature and circumstances of the crime.
Really?
So they're still, banging him for that. 2019 comes around. He's still in jail. Mm-hmm. He says, quote, I went 17 years without a misconduct and still couldn't get parole. He said, it's been really frustrating. Now, I looked it up here, and apparently juvenile life without parole prisoners resentenced to life are don't get paroled a lot.
Really?
So when they give you life with parole, that basically means go fuck yourself anyway. They said in 2018, the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board voted favorably to recommend parole for only 6.3% of the time in violent offender cases. So he beat those odds and still got it rejected by the governor. So, yeah, between 2018 and 16, the board voted in favor of parole for violent offenders just 3.56% of the time on average. So you're not likely to get it there. They said, while the state need not guarantee eventual release to a juvenile murderer defendant sentenced to life without the possibility of with the possibility of parole, in order to be constitutional, such a sentence must present the defendant some realistic opportunity to obtain release.
Sure.
Which is very fucking fair. They said Oklahoma has some juvenile offenders serving multiple consecutive life sentences, which juvenile sentencing reform people say are unconstitutional. So that means they'll be in there forever. They said they're essentially life without parole sentences without being called that. So end around, basically. They said nobody wants to take a chance because they don't want to be blamed for the 1 in 10 who might do something, which is true. Yeah. They don't want to be the ones who paroled him.
Right.
Traditionally, the Pardon and Parole Board have always looked at the question of why should this person be let out, but we are now being asked to look at why these individuals should stay in. That's a lot. So they said that Thompson won't be eligible for parole again until 2021. So this year, his family's launched a Facebook group to try and gain public support for his release. So he said, I've already been tried, convicted, and sentenced. Aren't you supposed to judge me on what I've done since then? So
it's hard to argue with this kid.
Hard to argue that he deserves a shot because number one, too, he wasn't the ringleader. This is the difference. If he was the ringleader of a group of 15-year-olds, that would be slightly different because that's like an adult skill to organize a hit crew and all that. But if you're the youngest by far in the group, including your brother who's 12 years older than you is in the group, you're not the shot caller, man. You know, like, no matter what he said or no matter how he tried to, I'm a kid, I'll say I did all this. It ain't him, man. It's just not.
No matter how bad you want to be a baller, you ain't it, bud.
You ain't a shot caller. You ain't a shot caller either. So lately, Thompson's high school girlfriend got back a hold of him, Donetta Bradford, who had testified against him. She said the only way that he did it because he thought it was the only way to protect his family. That's why he killed Buck. And the two have reconnected since he's been in prison. And she says, quote, he shouldn't have done what he did, but Wayne was a kid who pretty much didn't see any other way to stop it. The adults were not taking care of it.
No, that's true.
That's the point right there. That's what I mean with a 15-year-old. They're reactionary. They do what their environment makes them do, basically. That's how kids work. Just the way it is. Same as a dog. Same as a dog, man. It's whatever you put into it you're gonna get out of it. So, I mean, some kids grow up in perfect environments and they fucking go off and kill people. Some kids come up in terrible environments and they just get straight A's and get scholarships. But the average of it is basically, kind of you were a reflection of your environment. It happens. So he's in there. I guess if you want him to be out of prison, you can join the Facebook group or whatever. If you don't care, fuck it. Who gives a shit? But either way,
it was a good story.
It's a great story, and we hope you enjoyed it a lot because it's a wild one. We had a crazy time telling it. So if you did enjoy that story, tell the world about it. Tell, most of all, Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. It's very important, and we don't know why. Say whatever you want. Just the 5 stars are important, and you got to say something. We get it. It takes 30 seconds to sign in, but it took a lot longer to figure out all these fucking people and how they're related to each other. So you should do that.
I want to know what Dickie's done since. I want to know if he's been in jail.
Since he's been out? Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah. No shit. So anyway, since his name is Richard Jones is the problem.
That is
It was hard
brutal.
to find. It was hard to find like who the fuck he was because that's the thing. I found a lot of those. Yeah. So there's a lot of Richard Joneses out there, unfortunately. So head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything about the show, both shows, Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder, everything about it. Check it all out there. Listen to Crime and Sports if you haven't yet because it's good shit. Yeah. This week we did Michael Irvin. Yeah. Everybody knows who Michael Irvin is. He's been on TV for 35 years. So Michael Irvin, and we had the 2021 Scummy Awards.
Right.
And they were phenomenal.
Somebody messaged me today, James, who I don't want to give a name or the thing that person does, but somebody is in Michael Irvin's life and messaged me so much stuff about what he does today. That's still phenomenal. Pretty bad.
Oh, yeah, no, he's just figured out how to keep it under the radar and keep his jobs. That's what we were saying. He keeps it at a slow boil.
Yeah.
It's at a simmer at all times. You turn that heat up to like 8, it's going to fucking, the lid's going to start rattling, but he knows how to keep it on a 2 for now. That's how it works there. So, yeah, listen to that. It was a wild episode. Also, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie, because I am going to do Once Bitten this week, goddammit,
I hope you
with
do.
Jim Carrey from 86, and Jimmy's going to be very excited for us.
I'm going to find that movie and watch it again. I miss it. That's so good.
So am I. What are we going to do? Maybe we'll FaceTime. We'll do it together.
I'd love to.
When I go. We'll do it from another time. We'll do it when I leave.
I believe there's vampire boobs in that movie.
Is there Lauren Hutton?
No,
I don't think.
Maybe Lauren Hutton. No, I don't think her. Although you can see him through the sheer.
Yeah, we were kids when we watched this, so we were looking for any glimmer of boob we could possibly get. Yeah. So there is that. Check all that out. Also, Patreon. Oh my goodness, patreon.com/crime and sports. All sorts of good stuff. Thank you so much for everybody that subscribes to us. You really are our lifeblood, and we want to give you the best possible shows, so we really go all out on those Patreon shows. Thank you for everything. Our last one we did was a guy named Harry Charles Moore in Oregon, who was a complete psychopath whose family tree looked like a bougainvillea with thorns and things and like birds living in it. And it was goddamn crazy.
If you like this show that we give you for free for 2.5 hours, think about how much work we put into what you'll pay for. We're giving you everything we got and more, and we're really trying for you guys. And the ones of you that are riding with us, we can't thank you enough. It's really some of the most fun I have. Thank you.
That's the truth, Jimmy. You got it right there. And the next one next week will be the prisoner dating game again, everybody. So that's the best one. Do it up. Sign up right now. Patreon.com/crime in sports. And anybody over the $5 level gets access to all the shows, both shows, bonus content, and the whole back catalog and everything else. And they get a shout out at the end of the show because they're a goddamn producer now and a fine, wonderful, wonderful person. And if they just want to be a producer and have great karma and have our undying, forever enduring affection, you can do that too over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And if you want to follow the show on social media, very easy to do. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Right. That's now that you know how to find us and all that sort of shit. I need to hear some good news, because this case was full of bad news.
So's the world.
So's the world. I need to hear a list of, this is a safe place. Take me to a safe place full of the greatest people in the world who are our most wonderful, beloved people. Jimmy, hit me with them now. Sink me in the river while they're tied to my waist, please.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett, Cameron Kashwara, Diane Lewis, Joanne Ahern, and Josh Sardo. Thank you, guys. You're
thank you.
Goddamn heroes. Other producers this week are Robert Jones's daughter, Meredith, who had a birthday. She got him listening to the show. That's why he gives a shit.
Well,
he gives a shit for more than that reason, I'm sure. But
still,
that's part of
thank you. We love it. When turning people onto the show is the greatest thing you could do, so thank you.
Especially when it's your parents. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Other producers are Trevor Lawson, Colin Fishbaugh, Pixie De Leon, Morgan Rushing, Thomas DeMello. Where did I go? God damn it. Jennifer Visconsi, James Martyr, Peyton Meadows, Carl Corporal Umlaut Kushner, who, by the way, something is wrong with my computer. Every time I type his name now, it does the umlauts over the U. That's what those are called, right? Umlauts?
Yeah. Now
they're there.
Now I think it's just in your.
Now it's memorized. Now it never goes away, and I don't know how to stop it.
Corporal Kirshner gets umlauts. That's right. Here it is.
It's out of control. My computer's ruined. Andrew Vipond, I think. Vipond. Sarah Miller. Jesse Pitts in Tennessee. Thank you, Jesse. Steve Chanel in Pennsylvania. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Domestic Disaster Designs. Chain Grant. Fiona Light. Hannes Melkonyanan. What?
Whoa.
No, that wasn't right.
That sounds tough.
John Carney, Stephanie Grotbeck, Albert Phillips, Julia Barth, Thomas Smith, Jessica Remick's husband, Mike the Bald Eagle, had a birthday. Mike the Bald Eagle Remick, obviously. Ashley Snyder, Janice Hill, Megan Hutchcraft, Susanna Platt, Amanda Jacobs, Natalie Ulvin, Brendan Abels, John Brace, Todd Theroff, I think, Hannah Bragg, Molly McDermott, Katie Bailey, Mila Forbes, Jason, nope, that's James Swin, Jordan Beach, Mark Gonzalez, Derek Edwards, Maury Allen, Lauren Donahue, Kevin Cheek, John Wirtz, Jacqueline Stone King, Robert Flores, Willie Roberts, Emma Claire Beckett, Olaf with no last name, Shelby with no last name, Michael Shielvibin, probably not.
Oh, you were on a roll there,
I know,
Jimmy.
I was really getting in it.
You were cruising.
I hit the pocket and I was running. Amy Hogan, Kelly Bishop, Paul Gibson, Kyle with no last name, Lucy with no last name, Rictavian Johnson, Amanda Foley, Daniel with no last name, Zach Cox, Elizabeth Wolf, Wendy Dragoon, Carrie Gibbons, Ashley with no last name, Reese Garrett, Alexis Schneider, Ashley Cooper, Michael Stanzel, Jacob Durst, Christopher North, Angie Olagio, I think, Hannah Walker, Ellery Dowby. I don't know. Tana Ayers? Fuck. I ruined it. Melissa Williamson, Erica Weasel Williams, Scott Cortez, Elise Baker, Allison Conover, Lexi McGinnis, Todd Aggressively Wardy Cochran, Hans Waldock,
like Sly,
James Miles, Tara Williams, Meals, I think it's Meals, Brittany Greendeer, Rick Ferguson, Peyton Riker, Shiloh Bailey, Ben Smith, Christine with no last name, Nathan Hill, Emma Wood, Abdi Orabi, fuck.
Sure.
Win Abril, Stella Arnott, Johnny Gardner, Joe Morrison Story, Michael Trujillo, Christopher Stotko, Kelly Welchek, Kamala Brown Sparks.
Kamala?
Yep, that's the one.
I don't think that's what you're saying.
Sean Embry, Real Meat, KP with no last name, Samuel Sloan Jr., Hannah Eisenberg, Paul K., Jill Elting, Madeline Jacquet, Catherine McCutcheon.
Jacquet from 227?
Yes.
Oh, thanks, Jacquet.
Justin Kissel, Chris Rhoda, Zach Trailer, Kylie, I think it's Kylie, Thomas Rose, Maura Winter, Cooper Corajua, oh boy, Brendan Chapman, Colton Kennan, Jessica Calling, Jesse Smith, Jamie Phillips, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Sex, Ignacio with no last name, Ed Flores, Kelsey Hebert, she's back. Remember when you got her scary fucking stoned? Poor Kelsey.
Yeah, in Chicago.
Yeah.
Sent her off into the night. I feel terrible.
Just walk off under those trains, Kelsey. Have a good night.
We should have gotten her an Uber or something.
We should have. Fuck. Josh Weir, Flash NZ, Jonathan Hoskins, Michael Shop, Sarah Hollingsworth, Cindy Rodriguez, Roni Shermersheim, Jessica Fancher, Barry McCockner. What? McCockner.
Yeah.
Oh, Barry McCockner. Gotcha, Barry. I'm on board. You beat me.
Now?
You beat me. Tiff Jimenez, Iris Ferretta, Sabrina Ayler, Christy Petrillo Solio. Nope. Ryan LeClaire, Nick Dunn, Michaela Campbell, Michael Wajoshio.
Oh.
What? Randy Newton, Brenda Flinton, Theron Jones, Sam Fairley Watson, Sandra with no last name, Abigail Fisher, Megan with no last name, Catherine Catalano, Tony Collar Molly? What? Collar Malil?
Yeah. Kalamala.
That's the one. Grant Mack, Serena Mossberg, Matt Schrader, Anthony Johnson, Rain Ashley, Dove and Dustin Edwards, Jack Ellis, David Sote, Kara with no last name, Kelly Fleshman, Zach Norman, Christian Denhard, Nick Wicken, Jeremy Manning, Anna Gay, Tom Campbell, Alyssa Wilson, what the fuck, Melissa Butler, Elliot with no last name, Jordan Hennon, Kimberly Bridges, James Davenport, Lily with no last name, Kristen Matursky, Zach Katz, Shiftavius Bunkshank, I think.
That's a handle.
It is. Eugene Martyr, Ali S., with no last name, just the S. Kennedy Cork, Rebecca Boland, Joshua Slotke, Katie Bailey, Dizzy Davis, Kyle House, Sam Seaton, Mike Billingsley, Brad Thornton, Chops with no last name, Becca Dunphy, Amy Potts, Dustin Brown, Cynthia Puga, Ken Sorensen, Veronica Jensen, Leon Deacon, Alvaro Rocha, I think it's Roca, Alexa Robinson, Don Murray, Gregory Smith, Only One Echo, Haley Sample, Jack Nichols, Jay Vaughn, I think. Yep. Casey Jones, okay. Tequila Dickerson, Bella, Eakins, Samantha Clare, John B. with no last name, Amanda Harper, Terry Lishka, and Amy Farr, and obviously all of our patrons. You guys are really the wind beneath our wings. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. We really, really appreciate it so much. Honestly, we said it before, and we're not like overselling it.
Right.
We can't overstate or oversell how much you mean to us for anything you do. Those Patreon donations, that means the world to us, and we will fight and bleed and die for those shows like we do. We really want those to be fun, so we hope you enjoy them, and thank you for everything you do for us. Jimmy, what can they do for you, or what can they say to you, or what can they ask you to do for them?
Oh, they can find me over there on social media at Whisman Sucks. I'm around. Thank you guys so much for being around with us, and I'm stunned that 30,000 people give a fuck what my dinner looks like on Instagram. It's staggering, and I'm really thankful for all you guys. Thank you. Where can they find you?
Honestly, thank you. Same sentiments for me, honestly. Thank you so much for giving two shits and caring that I moved and stuff. And see, by the way, the show's fine, isn't it? Isn't the show fine now? Isn't it great?
So good.
We're here together. Yeah. Hi, Jimmy. How you doing? We're right. We're sitting next to each other still. As we told you, nothing would change. And the show, nothing's changed, just like we said. So thank you for believing us and hanging out with us. If you want to find out more, I'm at Jimmy P is funny, or just Google us. You know how to find us. That said, wild episode. And guess what? Going to be even wilder next week, as it always is.
Yeah.
I can't wait either, Jimmy. I can never wait. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus